Hello and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sport. For today's guide, how to watch Ulster versus Connacht. It's the first quarterfinal of the United Rugby Championship as we move into the final 3 rounds of the tournament. And 8 teams will go down to 4 and then down to 2 before we crown a grand winner in the grand final, which I think is the 27th of May or something like that. End of the month, basically. And this weekend, we're going to be sort of halving the amount of teams in the competition. Now, first up, we do have Ulster versus Connacht. And the good news is all 4 quarterfinals are being shown on free-to-air broadcasters throughout the weekend, which means that if you're in the UK or in Ireland, you'll be able to watch all the action live. But if you're outside, you'll still be able to watch all the action live with the use of a VPN, which is a virtual private network. Now, before we show you how to do this, please do smash the like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, we recommend using ExpressVPN, which we've partnered with in the past, and it's a very reliable VPN and it does work. And you can check out in the description. It has all the links and stuff. And yeah, basically, first things first, you're gonna install ExpressVPN, and as you can see, that's me. And then you're gonna go to the 3 dots on the right hand side. That'll bring up a list of locations. So as you can see, I'm currently connected to an island server. Now, because I'm connected to an island server, I'm currently watching TV. I'm currently watching TG4, which is live and in HD. It is an Irish language channel, and it'll be showing both Ulster versus Connacht as well as Stormers versus Bulls. So this is the exact method you can use for both those methods, for Leinster versus Sharks as well as Glasgow versus Munster. You can still use ExpressVPN, but you have to watch on RTE. So that is literally it. First things first, you're going to download ExpressVPN. I recommend signing up for the 12-month version. You'll get 2 extra 3 months free, but also more importantly, we'll be able to show you how to watch Rugby Championship games for free, how to watch the entire Rugby World Cup, all 48 games for free as well. So get yourself ExpressVPN, get yourself sorted, follow the steps in the description, and make sure you don't miss out on any rugby this weekend. Let me know what you think is going to happen in these games across the weekend. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon. Right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rugby Fan Forum after our week sabbatical because Stephen went away and basically lived in the Stone Ages where the upload speed that we had on our Wi-Fi was 0.2 megabytes per second, guys. That's how much of in the sticks I was a week ago. So Fan Forum is unfortunately never going to happen, and that is also why, as you guys probably guessed, there were no Watchalong stuff like that. But I'm back in the land of the land of the infrastructure for another. What have we got here? Reason about 1 hour. Then our power goes off for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, correctly so.
But I'm joined by Reza and Chris. Chat's very well.
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, can't complain. It was a very peaceful week, mainly due to the fact that Steve was in the bush, well, under the bush and on the coast with no Wi-Fi. But good to be back. Let's talk some rugby.
Yeah, fair enough. Much bit tired there, to be honest. Like it just can the entire whole digital media thing. Go back to I'll go produce the daily paper. Go back to my roots and get a typewriter out. Because that's kind of where they are down there. But anyway, let's soldier on. We've got a lot to talk about. We have got a European Champions Cup final that has been confirmed. We saw Leinster and La Rochelle demonstrate why they are probably the 2 best sides in Europe right now. And it's quite cool actually, because I think often we get to like a European final and you sometimes think, are these 2 the best teams though? Has a team just gone on a bit of a run? Has a team gotten lucky here and there? Whereas I think you watch those semi-finals, you look at these 2 teams, you look at the last couple of years, and you think these probably are the 2 best teams, which is very cool. We're talking a little bit about the Currie Cup, which is going to be get quite interesting over the next couple of weeks. And the big thing we're talking about is the URC quarterfinals, which begin tomorrow night actually, and just over 24 hours when Dwayne Miller will be running out with Ulster trying to take on Connacht. Then we've got the Stormers versus Bulls on Saturday. We've got Leinster versus Sharks, RIP Sharks, and then we've got Munster versus Glasgow to wrap up the weekend. So, without any further ado, chaps, should we just talk about a little bit about last weekend? And I think Chris, you probably watched it more than maybe we did. I was struggling a bit down there trying to watch it, so I've watched catch up. But Leinster demolishing Toulouse, La Rochelle, then doing a similar job to Exeter. Are these 2 the best teams in Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, I did manage to catch both those games. Really, really good games. Yeah, absolutely. They are by far the two best teams in the competition. I think there was a lot of talk of Toulouse giving Leinster a bit of a game, running them much closer. I heard some whisperings that they might even win, but I didn't think so. In the tip and show last week, I had Leinster -8 on the handicap, quite strong. I just think Leinster just got too much motivation this year, and the momentum and the form of the Irish is just too strong. And then you look at Toulouse, they got the players, but as I was worrying about, they're not nearly as physical as like La Rochelle are, and their discipline is not good. And Leinster just ate them, took them to the cleaners, and then the ref got onto their side. So they ran away with it quite easily. And in that La Rochelle power, I think Exeter were always going to run out of juice. They've had they've had a few big games leading up to that. And La Rochelle at home in Europe is just like insane. Like a lot of those French sides at home are there's that atmosphere and they just get themselves up. But there you are, they blew Exeter off the park. So yeah, in the repeats of last year's final, yeah, I don't we're going to preview the game, but I'm going to stick my neck out. If La Rochelle do what they do best, it's going to be a repeat of last year's result probably.
That's
But
a
I think
big
it's going to be
shot.
a humdinger.
That's a big shot. That's what we're here for.
No, that's an honest, genuine. I think if La Rochelle do what they do best and on the day do it right, Leinster are going to have a big game on their hand, and I don't know if they will be able to actually live with La Rochelle. Not many teams can when they're like at that, when they're playing like that. But it's safe for Leinster. But I think La Rochelle are just a little bit more physical, more clinical in the physical exchanges. But look, maybe Leinster have learned, and maybe they get their revenge.
Chris, is that your heart or your money talking there?
Yeah, yeah. But in 2 weeks' time, you can have to put his money where his mouth is.
Well, we will see. That's exactly it. This is just a sneak preview, but we still got some build up to look into. So I'll obviously put the money down when next week's show for sure. Next before the final.
That sounds like an easy out to me, but you heard it, Tune in next week.
My first call is La Rochelle by 2. Another humdinger.
Wow.
So if I were to go, so if you put money on right now, you put in the La Rochelle win, eh?
Yeah. The thing is, it's in Dublin, right?
Yeah, it's in the Viva Stadium. So that does for me. That's why I think that
that would probably be the swinger, because I mean La Rochelle in the previous final as well, right? No, that was Exeter and Rasted, I think it was, and then they played Toulouse and La Rochelle. They lost, but La Rochelle lost because they played Botica when you're still a centre, but he hadn't played in 2 months. They should have actually beaten Toulouse in that final as well. So, so it's the final we want in Dublin. It's perfect. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, look, I mean, La Rochelle have been getting progressively better and better. I mean, this is their third final in a row. For Leinster, it's their second final.
It is the third. Yeah, I think I missed. Yeah, I got wrong with finals, but yeah, that's right, Steve.
Yeah, they lost to Toulouse in 3-1. They beat Leinster last year. Now, can they do the double over Leinster this year? Last year was in Marseille. Year before that was in Twickenham, so neutral ground. And this year it will be in Dublin. Now, on that point, I want to talk a bit about this, because next year the game is at the two finals, the Challenge Cup and the Champions Cup, are at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I mean, how's that for a choice of venue?
Yeah. I don't really get that at all. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think if you're trying to promote rugby, why the hell would you go over to that stadium? There's so many classy stadiums, especially in Europe, that deserve a lot of attention, and rugby stadiums. And I just don't really get it. I know it's brand new and it's been recently revamped and it's really, really nice, and obviously just doesn't make sense to me.
I think more to the point.
Yeah, but it's a football stadium, man.
Look, hey, they have NFL there. You can the whole thing. Look, it looks like an absolute.
Yeah.
It looks like a phenomenal stadium. I reckon it's on my bucket list to go check, because it just looks like one of those modern stadiums. It's just absolutely incredible. But
that's the case. But I think Twickenham's home of rugby. I mean, that's if you're going to play it in England, that's where you got to play it.
Well, see, the problem is, the problem is this is the problem. Of the last 6 finals, 4 of them have been in England.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem is. You've had Jadon Park, Newcastle, Ashton Gate, Bristol, Twickenham and London, and now Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Do you have any insight as to how they go about selecting venues?
No.
I would have thought that as a obviously a multi-country tournament, that's very simple thing to do would be like, well, we're going to rotate it amongst each country each
It's
time.
not hard.
This is not complicated, and what to me, what that says is that England have a bigger stake in this competition, or let's say influence, than perhaps we realize on the outside, and that's what it says to me.
Look,
Right or
traditionally,
wrong,
yeah,
that's kind of
because traditionally, I mean, if we go back and look at the early 2000s, for example, if we look at, say, from 2000, it went London, Paris, Cardiff, Dublin, London, Edinburgh, Cardiff, London, Cardiff, Edinburgh, St. Denis, Cardiff. So you could see it. I mean, there was no back-to-back hostings. There was generally 2 or 3 finals in between going back to the countries. But since 2015, it's gone England, France, Scotland, Spain at one in Bilbao. Then England, Marseille in France, Dublin, and then back to England. So I mean, you must be sitting there as a Scottish. Yeah.
Wasn't there was one in Edinburgh, wasn't there? Because I was at it. Saracens versus Clermont.
Yeah, was it 2017?
I'm sure I was at that game.
Yeah.
What were you I was in Edinburgh. Day? I'm pretty sure I was in Edinburgh.
Because sitting there in the middle of Bilbao going, yes, the Scottish accent's changed a lot, eh? These guys were so tanned.
Yeah, I was there. It was a good game.
Do you remember what was the result?
It was Saracens won quite nicely in there, but it was nice atmosphere,
No, I want detail. I want scoreline. I want try scorers. Come on.
Oh, you got me. No.
Let me ask you a better question. How much money did you win that day?
No, it wasn't actually. I actually can't remember. I can't remember a lot about it, honestly. I do know it was. I think pretty what I do know. There was a few of the Sappers still there. Scott Berger, I think it was one of his last games, or he was playing. Michael Rhodes was playing. But yeah, what was the score? Let's see if I can remember. I don't know, 24-16.
That's not bad. It was 28 points to 17. And to be fair, do you think Michael Rhodes was playing? Vincent Koch was playing?
He was playing because I'm sure he scored a try, Michael Rhodes.
Yeah, Vincent Koch was playing. Skalkberger came off the bench, as did Skalk Brits, as did Petrus Duplessis.
Yeah. So not too bad. Ringing through the beers there.
I was about to say that
was a really good day out.
It sounds like it. and you can't even. And can you remember the referee? Come on, it's an easy one.
Wayne Barnes.
Nigel Owens. Come on, man.
Nigel Owens. Well.
Good old Nigel.
Yeah.
Right. So there we go. So that was last weekend, which means that you're gonna lock on the 20th of May for the final, which is going to be a lot of fun. Just very quickly looking at some Currie Cup results before what I want to get really into is this weekend, because it's going to be a lot of fun. The Currie Cup results from last weekend were pretty cool because the Lions beat the Pumas. What we do, we go and beat the top of the log teams. At the end of the day, the Lions are our favourites for the Currie Cup, and I will not be hearing anything different. The Cheetahs beat the Griffins 33 points to 10. Sharks beat Griquas 24 points to 6. Western Province hammering the Bulls 31 points to 7. And might I add, not a bad Bulls side either.
Mm-hmm. Go on. Who was there?
What, you paid for Bulls?
No.
Well, there was Orange.
Yeah, let me pull up the team. I don't think Moody played, but where's my team over here?
So is this still under the Jake White tenure?
Under the Jake White tenure, it was Kirsten Cup, Jan Hendrik Bestels, Francois Klopper, Charlie Yules, Janko Swanepoel, Marco Fitzgerald, Reinhard Ludwig, WJ Steenkamp, Keegan Johannes, Koersen, David Creel, Cornel Hendrik, Stefan Kant, one to the Similani, Kurt Lawrence off the bench. Wow. There was Johan Krobela there, Harold Forster.
And they got hammered.
Yeah, no, they got.
And yes, I lost a lot of money on that game. Because all of the punters saw the team sheets, and they were like, "This, the form the province was showing, there was no, Bulls were going to come to win. I mean, on paper they had to win, and they actually were nowhere. Province actually manhandled them off the park.
Clearly, Chris, you haven't been listening to the show back, because every time
I know. And the thing is also, exactly. And in this preview show I did last week as well, I said I'm not betting on that game because I always think Province are better than they are, and I didn't know what the team sheets were as well back then. But I said, nah, I'm gonna leave it. I haven't bet on Province all season. What do I go do? I bet a Bulls +8 and they lose by like 30. That's a joke.
Well, on that note, that's kind of leading me into the next thing, because that's the poll, by the way, everybody. If you're watching, we have put on a poll out, and the question is, can the Bulls beat the Stormers? Just a couple of comments before we go into that. Is Yanni Brad saying, cannot wait for the game. Saturday we'll be there. Matthew Dixon saying, money's on the Bulls and the Sharks. I appreciate the loyalty, but definitely be putting money on the Sharks. PK Moss saying, the Stormers have too much class to be upset by the Bulls. Johnny's saying, good ref this time, not much on the best, so it would be Bulls. Angela saying, Saracens played there for a league game, and the pundit said the facilities, the atmosphere was really good. Yeah, I did see that actually, and they packed it out in terms of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So it is a very cool stadium. But just like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they played a few games. Harlequins have played 2 games there recently against Saracens and Exeter, I think it was. I can't remember, or Irish. Yeah, I mean it's a brilliant stadium, best in the world, but yeah, it's not a rugby stadium.
Yeah, it's like
the traditional rugby stadiums.
Yeah, it would be like going to like Soccer City as opposed to Ayers Park.
Well, either way, you're not dealing with the phone, so.
Wow!
Oh.
I will go to Soccer City every day of the week before I have to go to Ayers Park. There's parking, there's a nice drive in there. I'll take Soccer City.
Well, talking about Soweto, it's the scene of the crime where the Bulls beat the Stormers in our only Super Rugby final that the Stormers made. So
Bulls are just moving to Orlando Stadium.
Horror memories there.
Right, so speaking of, this weekend, we've now got, obviously, the Bulls versus Stormers. Now, I mean, I think, I don't actually know if Jake White has actually beaten John Dobson. I mean, if you look at the record between the two, it's mental. John Dobson's had his number since Jake White's come back. I think it's only like once or twice he's actually been beaten by him. So, the Bulls have been playing better last weekend against a Leinster youngster side and a Zebra side. So, it's difficult to gauge if they've been better or if they're just playing against really bad opposition. Stormers have not been playing particularly well in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So, have the stars aligned? Can the Bulls do it? Reza, are you giving them a stiff of a chance?
Yeah, I am actually.
Yeah, there we go.
Very, very much so. I'm not a believer in Jake White. I am a believer in South African derbies and their ability to give you everything that you want to see in a rugby game. And I can guarantee you that no matter where they were on the log, when this game came around towards the end of the season, they were both going to show up and they were both going to put in a performance. And if it is a steamrolling, I can guarantee the Bulls will not be going out meekly. They're going to be throwing it around left, right, and center, both sides. I'm pretty sure about it. It might just turn into a bit scrappy, but I think they're both going to go hell for leather and just really just enjoy it. It's going to be such a good game to watch. And when those kind of games come along, and especially between two South African sides, I personally wouldn't put a dime down on a game like that, just because I think it's so unpredictable. We love nothing more than to stuff each other up. The only people we love to stuff up more than each other are the English, and they're not involved. So yeah, I think there's definitely a shot. I still back the Stormers to pull it off, but it's going to be a cracker.
And Chris, are you going more one-sided, or also think it'll be close?
No, I'm totally in alignment there with Reza. Absolutely agree. I think Bulls will arrive. I think, like you said, if Stormers had been playing better leading up into this game, I would be far more comfortable that it would be a comfortable Stormers victory. But I think the Bulls, I'm not really, like I said, I'm not reading too much into those 2 games at Loftus. I think that was almost had to be expected that they at Loftus put those teams away. So yeah, could have built the 2 things could have happened, right? Built their confidence, which I think they do have. I think they have built a bit of confidence out of it, or they're going to run into completely different opposition, and then they're not going to actually be up to the speed that they probably should be. But I'm not anticipating that. I think Bulls have got revenge on their mind. And when Bulls and Province play each other and there's revenge on their mind, it's like I said, it's going to be a physical, brutal affair. And I think
Springboks don't like losing against each other too many times in a row. They're going to come out there trying to murder each other.
So I think Bulls want to come put the record straight after last year's final, and they're probably going to come in with like a Leinster semi-final attitude. And I think Stormers, this is the chance for the Bulls to take the Stormers, because the Stormers aren't on form. But look, if they come as Stormers arrive, they win by 3. I agree with Reza. It'll be a close game within 5. But Bulls are in this game, and I would not be surprised if they sneak it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we all know this is the game in SA Rugby. It always has been the game, that North South derby. I think it's interesting because I think that it's amazing how playoff rugby also does strange things to strange teams. I mean, last year they said the Bulls were not given a chance against Leinster, so they should never have won over there, and they did. And we spoke about the fact, and that's why we kind of gave them a bit of a chance during that Champions Cup quarterfinal, because we just said if there's one thing Jake White can do, and often even the Bulls side as well, they do know how to win things. They do know how to if they can get themselves into position of playoff stuff like that. They don't often lose finals. They don't often lose playoff games. So.
But the thing is, the Stormers, at home, that's going to be, they are good at home. If they got their defense back to where it's been for the last 18 months, they're so difficult to beat. I'll still say that they are difficult to beat. They've probably got a bit more class around the park in certain positions. I think if Dion Furey's still out, I mean, he's been a massive loss. I think he's still out. That brings them, as you could see, he's worth some players to teams like Mwanga's to Crusaders, Furey to the Stormers. They're worth like 7 points at least to a team. So I think that's one of the big levelers for me as well. But I think just in the last couple of years, the Stormers have had their number on the Bulls. I think, this is the thing. We know these teams know exactly the strengths and weaknesses of each, and that's the thing. But I think the Stormers obviously have had the better of the Bulls, but I just think form and motivation levels is where the equalizer is going to be. Stormers a little bit of a dip, Bulls a little bit up. Bulls maybe want it more. But yeah, we'll see. I can't wait for it.
I wanted to just touch on something a little different. Is that something that I noticed in the games that I have watched is that now that we've seen 2 years of this compared to Super Rugby, there's not been as much in the way of argy-bargy, and especially as a use as a disruptive tactic. So back in our Super Rugby days, there was a lot of that, and not all of it was just unprompted. A lot of it was stage stuff, things that were planned. Like you're going to have a couple of enforcers, and you're going to be in the face of the other guy, and you're going to make sure that you trigger them as much as possible, because if you don't, they've just a better side. And so that was quite a tactic that was used. In this URC, I don't see a lot of that. And I think that between two South African sides, we'll see which one puts it up. I think with Jake White's more likely to tell his boys to get in the ears of those Stormers guys, throw around a couple of inside jokes that only they would know about, and see if he can disrupt. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of handbags thrown.
Well, I think you got to target certain people. You've got to. And for me, if I'm the Bulls, I'll be sitting there telling. If I'm Jake White, I'm sitting there telling my pack. I'm telling Mark Overstar, and I'm telling Amorne Smith, Harrison, and I'm saying, you guys get under the skin of Evan Lewis and get him sent off, because he will do something stupid.
Oh, jeez.
Those sort of players. And you sit there going, that's one of their best players, but he's a walking penalty if he wants to. He's got a bit of temper. Try and play into that. I mean, it's like how often people used to just buy yellow cards with Bismarck UPC and stuff like that. There's certain players which are always just they can't resist. And
I mean, Evan Etzebeth, in the beginning, he wasn't in control of those kind of tactics that he used to use. But in his later years now, he's become almost an expert at making sure that he's instigating, but also getting the reaction out that he wants from it and walking away. And so you need that kind of guy to just. You mentioned Michael Rhodes earlier. Also in his later years, a fantastic exponent of getting reactions out of people just by being there. And you want to disrupt them. Even a guy if you can get under the skin of a guy like Davian Willemse, his game is gone. And he's very composed most of the time, but he has the ability to crack sometimes. And once you do, I think that you could probably disrupt that game pretty well.
Yeah. Also, Mani Lobok's form's dipped a bit. He's also gone a little bit off the boil.
I think the Bulls need to be targeting certain players, to be honest. I think they need to be sitting there. I mean, personally, I'm interested to see who starts to scrum off, because I haven't been particularly impressed with Paul DeVette, and I've actually been very impressed with him.
Me too.
So I'm
glad you bring that up. I agree. Paul DeVette's not the caliber. He's not as good as I was hoping he could be. He's definitely a weaker link there.
Yeah,
Jancis should be given the run.
Yeah, and I think if they can target him, and prevent Leibach from getting decent ball and putting him under pressure, I also think that he's someone who sometimes has struggled sometimes when he's been put under a lot of pressure. I think, from a pack perspective, I don't think there are too many chinks in the Stormers' armour. I mean, obviously Dion Free's the big loss, but Darmani coming back into a bit of form and Evan Riz coming back, you can probably try and sort of fill that gap. That tight five is really, really solid. It's for me. I think the wings. I think if it becomes quite loose, I'm interested to see who they go. I mean, for example, Hotzenberg kind of dropped out because of his defensive his positioning has been a bit poor lately. So I think that's where, for me, your likes of McCain and Moody, Currie, Lawrence, I think if they should be targeting those wide channels. I think if they can get one-on-ones, Currie Lawrence versus most people is a dodgy. It's a dodgy set. So if you can get one-on-one with a couple of those Stormers wings, I reckon the Bulls would also exploit those sort of areas.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
That's the thing with Dion Currie. Sorry, Riza.
No, carry on. Sorry.
No, so Dion Currie, not just the turnovers and the points gained, net gain that we have with him on the field. Like Stormers have just looked rudderless. Like that's what's worried me the most is their body language. Like it just doesn't look like if you watch them. I think he was captain. Was it Ori that was captain? I think he was recently, or so. Some were at one. But it's just not the same. That's all I said after the Exeter game, and then they've come back. That's the body language. There was a scarce about the Stormers. They were talked about the team spirit, and when they got talk about all of that, the good vibe. But that vibe seems to be a little bit. That spark seems to be gone. But maybe if they find it this week, they'll do well.
Yeah, I think a lot of that also comes from the exuberance of certain players. So, like you said, the Dion Fouries and the Evan Ruiz, when they aren't there, I'm not talking about aggression, but just you can feel the energy for certain players, and you feed off that, right? Yeah. So when they're not there, I think it's quite a big problem. Marvin Ori, you mentioned him; he is the exact opposite. The man
Ori, those captain,
man is a stone.
Yeah. Look, and the thing is, you got to find that balance. You need your sock standard sort of. I mean, that's what Marvin Ori is. I mean, a lot of people don't like him because he's nothing flash, but he's just a very solid rugby player, very nebulous. To be fair, he is somebody that does try to get under people's skin. He actually does it quite well. He's had a couple of moments where whether it's just throwing a ball down or tapping a scrum off in the wrong way, but he's very quiet. And I think you need people that bring that energy, and that's what Dion Currie. For example, look at the lines with and without Frankie Horn. They're like two different teams. He comes back and the entire team just sort of suddenly switches up a notch. Sia Khalees is a bit of a player like that. He has a couple of runs, a couple of big moments, and everybody around him's like, shit, this guy's playing. I've actually got to step up my game here and try and match what he's doing. So I do think they're missing that aspect of Dion Currie many ways more than as you're saying, Chris, his actual what his output is. It's just that person next to you that's playing out of his socks, and you have to sit there going, shit, I need to be matching this energy. I need to be matching this sort of level of performance.
I agree. I mean, I think we've all played rugby, right? I remember. I mean, I was at a top school, but I remember one or two captains of mine who were just as captains were just like awesome. That energy that they brought to the field. You do, as a player, you do rub off on it. You want to match it, and when you're out there.
100%.
Now the next big question: Bulls did it last year. Can the Sharks go to Dublin and return victorious? What chance are we giving them, if any? Shame, all the lads are watching. They've all signed new contracts. They've got a new coach, John Plumtree, sitting there. Go on, lads, go over there and do something special.
Well, listen, if the guys in the comments want to tell us something different, go ahead. But I think...
you want the opinion? That's the honest. That's my. I can't find a reason or. Yeah, I can't. I mean, they might be able to give them the game. They might be able to play like they did when they played them in October when they put 30-odd points and were up there right until close to the end. But Leinster aren't losing this game.
Yeah, sorry, they haven't given us a reason to believe in them.
The reason, that's the word.
Now that you're at the end part of the season, I think we can quite happily stick our necks on the line and say, well, on a balance of probabilities, you're going to give us the same that you've been giving us. And so if the probability is 2 out of 10 times you're going to show us a good performance, I think we're pretty comfortable saying that you're not going to show up on the day.
Yeah, and I think just be honest, Sharks have weaknesses that Leinster don't. Leinster are going to show up those weaknesses. Like even if Sharks do end up scoring 30 points again, which not many teams do there, I can still see Leinster putting 50 past the Sharks, and that's the problem. Like Toulouse putting all that points past. I just don't think the Sharks are a cohesive, well-coached unit to live with Leinster. I'm sorry, like there's some players there, but they're not the same level as Leinster. And to say the motivation levels that Leinster have at the moment, they're not dropping this game. And I kind of made a comment. I wanted Sharks have also cost me a lot of money this season, so maybe there's a little bit of bitterness there. But besides that, I mean, the Sharks have only got themselves to blame to have earned themselves a trip to Leinster for the quarterfinal. They've shot
Yeah, no, they
themselves in the
shouldn't. They
foot. So
shouldn't have
they
been going
must.
over there. They should be
They.
going. They should be playing against Ulster tomorrow.
They've. Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
some
So
credit to this Leinster team.
they've earned themselves this. They've earned themselves this trip, so they can go and make what they want out of it.
It's like a
You know?
punishment. Yeah, you want to stuff up. Go to Leinster, get beaten. This is what you get.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the Storm, yeah, Storm is also kicking themselves,
Yeah.
but yeah, no one wants to go to Leinster at this time of the year, right? Especially you've been over that side of the world a few times already.
No, and I think for me the biggest issue for the Sharks is that they're missing key players in key positions. You know, no Ibn Etzebeth, no Sekulisi, no Rowan Jansen van Rensburg. You know, that means you don't have your crash ball center who's going to get over the advantage line all the time. You don't have
the scrummy.
no Jaden Hendrickson, which I think this. I mean, when you say you want to go over to Dublin, I love Grant Williams. I think he's an absolutely brilliant scrum half. You want somebody like a Jaden Hendrickson who can control the game, who can tactically, because he's somebody who can. Like when you're under pressure, you can say, right, boys, we're just going to slow this down. We're going to manage the next 10, 15 minutes. Whereas I think Grant Williams is very much like, right, boys, I'm seeing half a gap, I'm going. I'm like, no. Which is what makes them so much fun to watch. But I think they are missing lots of key players, which maybe could have made them competitive, but I just don't see them being anywhere near good enough this weekend.
Well, just eating our words.
If I could give a word to
Currie.
Leinster, though, is just like, honestly, having watched more and more of them, and I wasn't entirely convinced in the beginning of the season, but I'm starting to think of this team as the way they play now is like the Crusaders. I don't want to mention the years because it hurts too much, but
Crusaders 1990 through to now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a Lions fan, I know what they did to us, and arguably, even in years where we had our very best team, best chances of them beating them, they still came out and they did the job on us. And this is how I'm feeling about this Leinster team: is that even if any other team right now, I think if they put up their very best performance, Stormers included, and Leinster playing at 85%, I think Leinster win. I think they're just so good. And what I love about them is that they've adapted to a clinical game. It's an all-round game. It's if you were trying to teach kids rugby, I would take this videos of their entire season so far and show them this is how you game manage. This is how you do basics right. And you will win games. That they are the model for it. You know, there's not a lot of flash, in my opinion. There's not. Most of it is honestly just simple: draw, pass, make space. Draw, pass, make space. What do you do when you're under pressure? Give yourself the room, get territory. They play that kind of game, and it's fantastic to watch. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
And I think what also makes them quite special is the fact that they've got a couple of players who, if there is that half chance, that we saw that Dan Sheehan try last weekend, where one bounces the ball and you've got your hooker just grabbing on it, absolutely gassing half the team and going over. So they've got those couple of players.
That comes from pressure, though.
Yeah.
Right? And so just back to basics again. It's like you always taught if you put enough pressure on in set pieces, in your defensive lines, folks on the other team are going to do something stupid, and you are going to have the opportunity to have those individual moments of brilliance. And that try was wild, by the way. I don't know, that gas came out of nowhere, dude. I mean, that he's gone to bed a happy man after that.
No, that's impressive. But yeah, so last words there, Chris.
Yeah, no, a word that when you talk about the top teams that you've ever seen and play, like All Blacks most of the time, Crusaders, and now Leinster, the word clinical. These teams are always clinical. Like they do everything that they do, they want to do, they execute. And there's not many teams. They've got all the basics covered. They know their strengths, and you see the execution. You don't see you don't see silly stuff on the field. You don't see bad mistakes. You don't see someone having a brain fart. It's all go time, show time, business time, deliver. And there's not many teams that pull that off over a period of time. And Leinster's in one of those cycles now where they're like the top team that does it. Like the Crusaders have been, let's face it, for the last 20 years, last 6 years as well.
You earn the right to play, right? It's what you're always told.
Yeah.
Just earn the right to throw it around, and that's something that I think the Sharks in particular is a team that comes to mind. That they've been chucking it around since like moment one in some games and unable to finish and execute.
Yeah, if you watch teams like Leinster and Crusaders, you never see a ball carrier look like they're shocked to have the ball.
Yeah.
Like you see, like I'll be admit, like South African sides, like Lock all of a sudden have this ball and he doesn't know where he's running. Like if you watch teams like Leinster and Crusaders, everyone, it's just there's purpose on it, you know.
To be fair,
There's
I think most of the time the Lions
it looks like they know what they're doing.
You know, it's tough out.
Yeah.
But Chris, you spoke about delivery, and delivery is very important. And what we want you to deliver this weekend is more of this.
Oh, more of the good stuff.
Because we're looking good. We've had a hell of a season. I tell you what.
Yeah. Well, I say no losing record yet, even though it's on the line this week because it's only one bet, and it's 4 legs. So we're at risk here, but still pretty confident that it's going to arrive. And obviously, it won't hit the overall record too hard if we do finally fall off the bus. But we're not going to. I'm sure we're going to do all right. But yeah, I mean, obviously we were off last week. Just a recap on the week previously. The one leg that lost us down on the one double was the Newcastle plus 18. Which hindsight was a shocking call because Northampton absolutely blew them away. Yeah, which is I'm a little bit annoyed because Northampton has been a team that I've backed a lot over the last 2 seasons. Lots of people haven't rated them, but they are a very good side and well-coached side. And then looks like they're in the semis again. So that was probably a bit of a brain fart call there. But then I did believe Newcastle's selection. They should have. I was hoping they would also certainly score more points. I mean, they scored the first try, and I thought, yep, okay, it's going to go the way I was hoping or expecting. But yeah, Saints just blew them away. And then obviously Blues won comfortably. A while ago, who these teams were playing, I can't remember now actually. And then the Rebels versus Satyrs, that last try was a last minute try again. But this is betting, right? I think this is the 3rd week in a row that we've had an 80th minute try bring our bets home. But that's what it is. We've caught the outcome and it's arrived, so we don't look back. So yeah, what's our overall record? We're up to 9.49 units profits, which is pretty good going. So it's, I suppose, if you've bet 100 Rand units on all these bets, you'll be up 949 Rand over the last 6-7 weeks since we've been doing this, and a return on investment of 75.5%, which is very decent. If you look at any tipsters or punters, by bare minimum, you need to be around 20-25% if you want any kind of credibility. You're doing really, really well at 40%, and the top guys are at 60-70. So
look what we've got here. We've got the Leinster of sports betting, ladies and gentlemen.
No. I mean, to keep it at 70, that is really good. Obviously, it is a high number, but to keep it at that's gonna be we'll be doing really well. And obviously, over time, that will most likely come down. But maybe I have the magic with you boys, and we'll keep riding it.
I don't like the negative energy.
I need positive. Yeah, no, we'll keep it rolling there. We'll keep it rolling. And this one we have lined up for this week. If that does win, that's definitely going to juice it all up big time. So what we've gone for this week. So as you guys know, right, I've used the available markets that are around for the show, which is must say a few games and markets that I would normally be targeting. But with what I've got for this during this time now, we're going to go with the Ulster home win outright against Connacht. I don't have any issue with that punt as well. I think Ulster at home are always generally pretty strong. Knockout rugby, Connacht away are generally not nearly as strong, but I'm confident that Ulster will do the business, but we only just need them to win. The handicap is 10, so they're 10 points favourite, which is quite a big favourite, so we just want them to win. See, I've got the Bulls sentiment here. We've gone for Bulls plus 13.5 points. Because the cap is 5. I think either team are going to win. It's going to be within 5, but we'll give Bulls 13 points because you also get more. Because Stormers are the favourites, we get more value there at 1.39. So Bulls plus 13.5 points. Reds at home to the Waratahs. This is probably not. Yeah, well, I'm pretty confident the Reds are going to win. So I've taken the Reds plus 4.5. I've taken the plus 4. I would have probably gone Reds money line to up the value, but it is a Aussie derby. Waratahs are playing all right, but I think Reds at home should do the business. And even if Waratahs sneak it in by 3 points, the bet will still come home. So that's why I'm confident on the Reds plus 4. And then tomorrow morning, Highlanders versus Chiefs over 52. Now the points line, the line cap is 60, and usually prior to this season, New Zealand derbies were often high scoring, and they'll often go over 55 most games, 60 points. But it's actually been the New Zealand derbies that haven't been producing the points lately. But the competition as a whole has produced in a lot of points. So I'm still happy to take the points, and I actually do genuinely believe tomorrow the Highlanders are going to go hammer and tongue at the Chiefs. I think Chiefs have got a strong side there as well. I think these teams are going to have a good old ding dong battle, a few tries, some try ping pong there going on. So over 52, I think it does get close, pushes definitely minimum 55, but does push 60. So yeah, this is a four leg bet, 3.33. Because we have made some units here, I'm willing to probably would have betted 1 unit or 0.75, but let's use some of our profits. I think this is pretty good bets, and if it comes in, we got a very nice, decent, healthy profit again to add to the record. So, yeah, let's bring it home.
Right, well, there we go. And as always, Spruce, thank you very much. And as always, big shout out to Big Coaster, who power both the fan forum as well as all our watch-alongs for the weekend. If you'd like to get a Big Coaster account, check out the description. And that is. I have been following Chris, and there's a nice little this little pocket of money that is carefully growing. By the end of the year, we might be able to afford a litre or two of petrol. So things are getting there quite nicely. And as always, if you'd like to have more tips, because Chris does throw out a few over the weekend, check out him on the Crow tips there. So yeah, good stuff there from
there's definitely some more doubles and trebles coming this week, and I do like the slate. But like I said, unfortunately, Betcoza doesn't have these games out by showtime now. Like there's the English Premiership last round of the season there. Some games there that I'm eyeing out, and I do quite like some of the Super Rugby games. So yeah, so have a look there if you guys if you follow or interested.
Cool, love your work. Right, then we're going to go to Reese, who wants to throw us a bit of a question, and get a controversial. I hope he gets a bit controversial. The question, can you remember the questions now?
Yeah, I do actually.
Throw it, give it to me. Hit me up with some big chats.
Just an interesting one, and I hope the guys in the comments just get involved as well. I saw a post, I can't remember who it was. So I apologize for stealing it from someone. But the question was, if you could bring out one former Springbok,
which James?
From a selection of 5. Not a bad shot, but
come on!
From a selection of 5, and they are a mixture of positions. Who would you bring out? And I guess the idea is they would slot into the current Springbok squad and take them to the World Cup. So your options are, starting in the front row, you've got Oosterhunt, you've got Skalkberger, you've got Fourie du Preez, you've got Percy Montgomery, and I think the last one was Brian Abana, I think it was.
Not Joffrey.
Right. Joffrey, not Brian Abana.
The goat. Chase himself.
Yeah. So Oosterhunt, Skalkberger, Fourie du Preez, Percy Montgomery, or Jacques Fourie. So I thought that was an interesting one. I'd like to delve into it a little bit. So we had a little short discussion off stream. But yeah, I'll go last. Let's put it that way.
I'll go first. Say what? I'll put the top of the block early on. So I'm going to try and work through them. So Oosterhunt, the legendary Luciad. I mean, because we've been pretty blessed with Luciad. We went from Oosterhunt to Beeson Tawera, and now we've got Stephen Cook and Oxen Chair. So one position we've never really struggled with. In fact, we've had so many we've started turning them into tight ends. So love Oosterhunt, love the idea of bringing him back, but I think we're pretty covered in that department. Skalkberger, I mean, it's difficult to ever say you don't want a Skalkberger in your team. I mean, it's just even when you're, I mean, and South Africa have always had some of the best loose forwards in world rugby. So I'm going to leave Skalkberger there. He might be the one I'm going with, to be honest. The obvious one is Fourie du Preez, the best scrum half of all time. And I'll fight anyone that says it otherwise, because the best players of all time all rate him as the best scrum half of all time. So Aaron Smith can come in a second, but I'm taking Fourie all the time. I think he probably would suit the current team best than any of the other 5. I think that he is such a good game management player. I think he reads the game so well. We do play so much off 9 that having such a good 9 there, I think, would be pretty important. It'll be interesting to see defensively what he would be like compared to like a Faf de Klerk, quite a different type of player.
Do you think that perhaps he might lack a bit of the physicality needed for the modern game?
Hey, look, he wore that hit from Skalkberger pretty well, so I think he'd be all right. Look, I suppose if Grant Williams can play and a Faf de Klerk can make it, or the Faf de Klerk's physicality always just blows my mind. But then Jacques Fourie, look, I mean, Jacques Fourie was like my favorite player growing up. I mean, I think he was most lines, but I think he's about the only world class player we had when I sort of during my sort of formative years. So it's difficult to ever say I don't want a Jacques Fourie. The Kanya though last year was probably one of the best, if not the best, 13 in the world at one stage. So difficult to. So I think for me, one of the reasons why we're so tempted to put Jacques Fourie is obviously his defensive reading of the game. The fact that we won 2019 based on such a good defensive system.
Keep in mind, I'm not saying it has to be a starting position.
Oh, so keep it off the bench as well.
No, it's just in your squad to take to the World Cup.
To be fair, I don't think maybe a Skullberg does quite well off the bench, but I think everybody else starts if you're playing him. Percy Montgomery, I don't think he suits our current team, to be honest. I think that, maybe to a certain degree. I look at he's a world class player, but I think at the end of the day, Freddie Lou is the coach, and I'm backing my boy. So I'm between Skullberg and Freddie. But you know what I mean? I'm actually going to go Skullberg off the bench as part of the bomb squad. I think in terms of an impact player, I think, which is a wild child to bench him because he's phenomenal. I think, but I think when if we had Sierklis, Pierce Depspoint, Wave and playing 55 minutes, and then you release the Skullberg on an entire team, I think that's quite a frightening prospect. So I want to go Skulk.
Okay, that was unexpected.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay, because I knocked something and it looked like okay. That's good. All right.
Go on, Chris. Let's hear it.
Yeah, geez. Well, I agree. Jacques Fourie was one of my favorite players of all time. So we had a discussion previously, and I'm thinking of what we currently have. Also loved Brian Abana, but I think at the moment we're spoiled for wingers.
Sorry, Abana's out. Sorry, that was a mistake on my part. It's Abana's not in the discussion at all.
Yeah. Okay.
You got Percy. Percy, you got.
So no, yeah, I think Percy was good for his time. I agree. I don't think Percy would be probably needed now. I think for me, I would definitely have Fourie du Preez starting over Faf. I think he would just bring a lot more and do what Faf does and more. So I would have him as a straight swap out, and I would probably have Jacques Fourie starting at 13, and Arm could come in as a backline player. But I think Fourie was just too. Arm at his best is good, but I just think Jacques Fourie had a little bit. I don't know. He was just, maybe it's just because he's one of my favorite players. I love Arm. Don't get me wrong. Arm's been amazing for the Box. But there was just something. Maybe it was just
he just doesn't have that presence. He just doesn't walk around, stretch around like he bloody owns the place.
But I think that the Villiers Fourie combo was also pretty good. They complement each other really well, which is important.
Chat for another day, but I think the Villiers after Fourie was never the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agree. I tried that he scored against the Lions at Loftus. It was just summed him up perfectly. But I mean, also as a Stormers fan, I remember just him. De Villiers put in Fourie away, like most games. It was just so beautiful. 30 meters out, Fourie running a line, De Villiers putting him through, or even vice versa. Fourier's popping it inside, or it was just awesome. Those two were awesome together.
Yeah. We literally, as far as I can see, he didn't go to Stormers. So don't come here with your, I remember Stormers. He's a Lions legend. He was there for like a season or two.
And Big Joe, is he a Stormer or is he a Lion?
Listen, we've got to claim what we can take here. Like I'm claiming anyone here. So the reason now you threw out the question, where you at? So Chris, you're going for the prayer, and I'm going Skullberg off the bench. Yeah. Reason?
I'm almost convinced about the Fourie du Preez shot. Almost convinced. I think for the same reasons as you, Stevie. Osterrand, fantastic for his time, especially, and an all-time great, but not something that we need right now going into this World Cup. Skulky, yes, yeah, that's a tight one for me. And you know what? He's not too far behind in terms of the modern style of play. And I just love Jacques Fourie. So every time I want to say someone else, I'm just thinking about Jacques. Percy, I also think that perhaps his play style might be a bit outdated. But I think if I'm going to go for someone, I'm going to say Fourie du Preez off the bench.
That's not a bad start, actually. I think in terms of someone who has to see a game more, for example, I don't think you get much better.
Yeah, I don't think he's the starting man. right now in this current side, but I think he lends a lot of guidance to a lot of young scrum halves and relatively inexperienced. Some guidance for Faf when he gets a bit excited. Maybe teach him how to box kick, and yeah, I think from a leadership perspective, something that we could definitely use in the background there. So Farida Priya, the main man, as usual. Ask the breakdown, they'll say it's nonsense, but yeah.
We're not going to mention we're not going to mention people that don't watch rugby. Come now.
And talking about old school and old favorites, my first car was named Os because Os was one of my first favorites.
Please tell me it was like an Opel Kadett or
Donny
something.
Gerber and Os Durant.
Wow.
What was the car?
Mazda Sting.
324. A Mazda Sting called Oz. I love that.
I'm actually going to have to
Famous
Google that.
thing.
I have to go. I don't know what the hell that is.
It's
It
like
didn't
a
look
dad.
like a horse, but it didn't look. I know it needed to be a Hilux or something like that. But
Oz could probably
wasn't.
lift it up. You could probably bench press it.
Okay, so I just want to point out that a Mazda Sting, I've probably confused it with a Toyota Taz so many times in my life.
Well,
Well,
it's a Toyota
I think
with
they come
boots.
out the same factory, but just with different stickers on it. To be honest.
Wow.
Do you remember those cars? Yeah.
Right, because you also give away your age there, but.
Yeah.
Alright, well, fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay, so Reeza, you're going Frida Pre off the bench.
Yeah.
I'm going Frida Pre start. No, I'm going Skelterberg off the bench, and Chris was going to go Frida Pre start. Well, there we go. I suppose at least we've all got different options. But chaps, before the lights go out, and not in a good way, please do smash like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. To everybody who's watching, chaps, thank you very much for joining me. And we will be back live again next week. We'll be talking about the Sharks as well as the Bulls being in the semi-finals. Imagine that would happen. But yeah, at least we know that one South African team will still be in the URC after this weekend. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about more of the news because there's so much news coming through. John Plumtree confirmed today as well, so we're interested to see what the reaction is going to be to that. We've had rumors about Rassie Rasmus potentially taking over as head coach. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of stories, a lot of news coming around. So we'll discuss a lot of that as well next week. And unfortunately, we're out of time yet. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Reeza and Chris have a great weekend. I'm sure there'll be a bit of banter thrown around the group. Chris, hopefully all the bets do land. And
Yeah.
to everybody else, we will see you. Well, I'll see you tomorrow evening for Ulster versus Connacht, where we can watch Dwayne Vermeulen put in one of those meteoric performances just to prove that he still is number one top dog in the side. So join me then. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, Ulster versus Connacht. It is the first quarterfinal of the 2022-2023 URC as we look to trim 8 teams down to 4. And Dwayne Vermeulen will be fronting up in the first quarterfinal. It'll be at the King's Pass Day in Cubas at 8:30 on a Friday night. We will be live. Come and join me and let's enjoy some really fun rugby. Before we look at the two teams, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. By the way, all 4 games this weekend will be on free-to-air broadcasters, so go and check ExpressVPN down in the description. You can go and watch all 4 games using ExpressVPN. We've got guides up on the channel as well. If you go to any of the watchalongs, they'll have the guide there as the preview there, and we've got descriptions on all the various videos. So make sure you don't miss any of the action this weekend. By getting yourself ExpressVPN and sorting yourself out. Right, let's look at the team, shall we? First up, we'll start with Ulster, who are the home side. They'll be captained by Alan O'Connor in the second row. In the front row, Rory Sutherland, Rob Herring, Jeff Tuamaga Allen will be starting. Rory Sutherland has been confirmed, and he will be leaving the team at the end of the season. Quite a few players who have been announced to be leaving the Irish side. In the second row, Alan O'Connor will be partnered with Kieran Treadwell, so it's quite a nice tied 5 there. I think Rob Herring, Rory Sutherland, your 2 standouts, but I've been quite impressed with Tuamaga Allen in the last couple of weeks. It's a very good loose trio. Dave McCann, one of my favourite players, Nick Timoney, and Dwayne Vermeulen will be rounding out that scrum. Dwayne Vermeulen's not captain. They're not quite sure how he ended up being captain. There are no 2 captains. It's just Alan O'Connor. Just a bit of an error on the graphic. But Dwayne Vermeulen will be starting, and this could be his last game for Ulster if they were to go out, because he's also been confirmed as leaving Ulster at the end of the season. John Cooney will partner Billy Burns in the half-back pairing. Jacob Stockdale, Rob Balaku, Michael Lowry are very exciting back three. You don't want to give too much space to. And somebody who can operate in a lot of space as well as with no space is the marauding Stuart McCloskey. He's had an absolutely terrific season, and he's next to James Hume in a very accomplished centre pairing. Off the bench, Tom Stewart, Eric O'Sullivan, Gareth Milicinovich, Sam Carter, Geordie Murphy, Nathan Doak, Stuart Moore, Kate Gilroy will be looking to make an impact. Watch out for the likes of a Sam Carter. I quite enjoy Nathan Doak as well. Very exciting young scrum half coming through. In terms of Connacht, the men in green, a couple of Irish stars sprinkled in amongst this side. In the front row, Dennis Buckley, Dave Heffernan, and Finlay Beelum. A lot of experience in this front row. In the likes of Dennis Buckley being having played over 2 at a time. Finlay Beelum 187 caps. Dave Heffernan 180 caps. So close on, about almost 600 caps between the front three there. You then got Josh Murphy, Niall Murphy in the back in the second row, and the back row is Seamus Hurley-Langton, who's still sort of getting to grips with things at Connacht, and then Conor Oliver and Cian Prendergast, a very exciting player as well. Watch out for him. So the number 8 battle should be quite a lot of fun to watch out for. The young 23-year-old number 8 will be up against Dwayne Muir. So what a way to really sort of test yourself. Colin Blade will be partnering Jack Carty, will captain the side. Mac Hansen in the 11 jersey. John Porter in the 14. The immensely experienced Tiernan Halloran at full back. And in the centres, the hard-hitting Bundy Aki next to Tom Farrell, who's also got lots of experience. It's a good Connacht side. It's a Connacht side that really likes to run with the balls at times with the opportunity arises. It'll be interesting to see what the conditions are. As we go further into sort of spring in the Northern Hemisphere, the conditions do tend to get a bit better at this time of the season, which should make for some really exciting rugby. In terms of the bench for Connacht, it is Dylan Tenny Martin, Jordan Duggan, Jack Unjia, Oisin Darling, Jared Butler with over 100 caps, Kieran Marmion, he's got well over 200 caps, Tom Daly and Byron Ralston. So a nice combination of a bit of experience as well as some youth that will make their way onto the park in the second half. Home advantage is quite important. I think that Ulster, will really fancy themselves at the Kingspan after working really hard to finish in second place. They've lost just 5 games throughout the season, fewer games than the Stormers, but finished with 68 points and haven't drawn a game. So they'll be very confident about being at home. Connacht finishing in 7th place. They won 10 games, lost 8, so a bit of a good season and a bad season at the same time. They had a points difference of 30, so they kind of scored as many points as they kind of conceded. So I wouldn't say that, for example, they've got an attack where they're not really going out there and outscoring opponents, because they do have the tendency to leak some points. Let me know what you think is going to happen down in the comments below. As we will be live, come and join me tomorrow evening. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. Hello and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sport. For today's guide, how to watch Ulster versus Connacht. There's the first quarterfinal of the United Rugby Championship as we move into the final 3 rounds of the tournament. And 8 teams will go down to 4 and then down to 2 before we crown a grand winner in the grand final, which I think is the 27th of May or something like that. End of the month, basically. And this weekend, we're going to be sort of halving the amount of teams in the competition. Now, first, you can see I'm currently connected to an island server. Now, because I'm connected to an island server, I'm currently watching TV. I'm currently watching TG4, which is live and in HD. It is an Irish language channel, and it'll be showing both Ulster versus Connacht as well as Stormers versus Bulls. So this is the exact method you can use for both those methods, for Leinster versus Sharks as well as Glasgow versus Munster. You can still use ExpressVPN, but you have to watch on RTE. So that is literally it. First things first, you're going to download ExpressVPN. I recommend signing up for the 12-month version. You'll get 2 extra 3 months free, but also more importantly, we'll be able to show you how to watch Rugby Championship games for free, how to watch the entire Rugby World Cup, all 48 games for free as well. So get yourself ExpressVPN, get yourself sorted, follow the steps in the description, and make sure you don't miss out on any rugby this weekend. Let me know what you think is going to happen in these games across the weekend. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon. and welcome to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sport. It's the quarterfinal time, people. Let's try and get excited. I don't know what you have to try. We should be able to succeed. It is quite exciting. We are into playoff mode, people. And we are up ready and getting ready for the first playoff of the season. Ulster versus Connacht. Should be a really good game, actually. I think I'll be interested to see sort of how these two teams go about it, what we can kind of expect. More importantly, on the selfish side, what can Dwayne Vermeulen do? Isn't that very much what we all want to see, is well Thor, our boy, can operate. And we're now sitting 4 months away from the World Cup, and still questions about, is he going to start? Is he our best? Is he, who else are the options, stuff like that. So, yeah, hopefully there's been another opportunity for us to get some information about where good old Dwayne is currently sitting. And, I've personally been pretty impressed with him this season. I think that he still, for me, is our number one choice. And I haven't seen too much over the season to really dispute that, to be honest. But, so kickoff is in 7 minutes' time. A little bit of time. We'll go through the teams. We're going to look at some of the recent form. We're going to look at where the game could be won and lost. And more to the point, we're going to give you guys time to vote on our poll. So we do have a poll running in the comments. So please do go and vote on it. We've got 75 votes. We can get up to 100. We're over 100. So do go and vote on the poll. And let me know who you think is going to win. I'm going to bring up some team sheets and stuff like that. We're going to chat a little bit about the rest of the weekend. We've got some very cool matches. Tomorrow we've got the North-South Derby. Now, isn't that the big one? The biggest match arguably in South African rugby. If we look at the last 5 meetings, by the way, between Ulster and Connacht, it is 4 wins for Ulster, 1 win for Connacht. First try wins 100% of the time. The home team wins 80% of the time between these two. So basically, in the last 5 meetings, whoever scored first would go on to win the game. So that's an interesting point to watch out for tonight. But before we look at the two teams, as I said, let me know who you're supporting. Who are we supporting here? Are we going for Ulster because of Dwayne? Are we going for Connacht as an underdog? Let me know where you're backing. As that, I'm probably supporting Ulster. I quite enjoy watching Ulster, to be honest. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them put in a pretty good shift, and I'd like to see. I just want to see good rugby at the end of the day. This is our first of the 4 quarterfinals. I expect to see pretty good running rugby tomorrow in that Bulls Stormers game. Hot conditions to be warm over there down in Cape Town. So, no excuse not to be excited in rugby. Leinster versus Sharks. Leinster do like to keep ball in hand, and it'll be interesting to see how Sharks try and counter that. Buddha Chambers starting at flower halves can be interesting. And then Glasgow versus Munster to cap things off. Big Glasgow Warriors fan. Again, also plays some very nice rugby. Also like to throw the ball around. Some very nice ball carriers. I hope we'll see like 20 minutes of Pupil Lotto. Hugh Jones coming off the bench, but we will hopefully still be able to see him playing together. The interesting time, and Matthew Dix just mentioned this now, is when we go into sort of these playoffs, we've got so many players who are leaving. They could all be playing their last games. This could be Dwayne Vermeulen's last game for Ulster. He has been confirmed that he is leaving. Where he's going, I don't know. Whether he's going to go anywhere, whether he's going to call it a day after the World Cup, who knows? But this is going to be his final game for the club. So whatever happens tonight, this will be his final few games for the club. So as soon as Ulster are out, he's gone. Let's look at the team, shall we? 4 minutes before kickoff, which means I should probably get my TV sorted because I'm probably going to find out that right now my stream is working. Good news. We've got Skulkberg and the Buggers in the studio. And it's good to see mic working. Get yourself down over there. That should be fine. I just want to make sure we're all settled in here. Hello, Cameron. Hope you're well. Let's look at the team, shall we? So we'll start with Ulster. Rory Sutherland, Rob Herring, Jeff Tumaga, Allen. It's a good front row. Rory Sutherland obviously is a very accomplished player. Rob Herring, one of Irish's finest hookers. Doesn't really let a team down at all. Alan O'Connor, Kieran Treadwell. Kieran Treadwell's quite a nice boost to have, but for me, it's this back row of David Buchanan, Nick Timoney, Dwayne Vermeulen. I'm a huge Nick Timoney fan. I think that he is one to watch for the future. I think, well, he's 27 years old, so I wouldn't say he's not that young, but I think that he should have played more times for Ireland. I mean, he scored 3 tries in 3 Ireland matches, so he's been unfortunate not to play more, but I mean, that Irish back row is so difficult to get into. Then you got Dwayne Finney at 8, then you got John Cooney next to Billy Burns. Billy Burns as well, somebody who can have great moments, but also has some horror moments, so he needs to start well and get some confidence early on. Jacob Stockdale's a nice player, and he's got Robert Ballycoon on the other wing. Michael Lowry at fullback, not the biggest of players, but quite fleet-footed. And then you've got Stuart McCloskey, who's a battering ram. It's inside centre. James Hume will be outside. And off the bench, Tom Stewart, Eric O'Sullivan, Gareth Milicinovich, Sam Carter, Geordie Murphy, Nathan Doak, big Nathan Doak fan. I think he's a nice prospect coming through. Stuart Moore and Craig Gilroy, which caps out the Ulster side. If we look at the Connacht side, Dennis Buckley, Dave Heffernan, Finlay Beelum in that front row. So Beelum versus Roy Sutherland should be quite a fun matchup. You then got Josh Murphy and Niall Murray in the second row. Seamus Hurley Langton, Connor Oliver, Kian Prendergast. Kian Prendergast, a very good player. So that Dwayne Vermeulen battle between him and Prendergast, who's 23 years old, 196, well over 110 kgs. Big physical presence. That should be quite a cool little battle there. Colin Blade, Jack Hardy, the halfback pairing. Then got Mac Hansen, John Porch, and Tiernan O'Halloran as the back three. Bundy Aki versus Stuart McCloskey. Very well, just at the moment, could be vying for a spot in World Cup squads, for example. So interesting to see, that sort of battle there. And then you've got Tom Farrell be outside. And off the bench, Dylan Tinney Martin, Jordan Duggan, Jack Unjia, Oisin Darling, Jared Butler, Kieran Marmion, Tom Daly, and Byron Walston. Here come Connacht. There's Bundy Aki. Cheapers, he's absolutely massive, isn't he? Finlay Beelum with his braids, looking ready for action. And we will have kickoff in about a minute time, apparently. Right, please do smash like the video, by the way, as well as we get ready for kickoff, which is going to happen just in a few moments. Should be, as I just want the conditions looking good. Obviously, we're now moving into sort of spring, so still very bright over there. It's very dark over here. It is 8:30. I'm surprised. So he's got a daughter out with him. He's got a little ribbon on him, and I'm surprised they managed to keep that ribbon to stay on. A couple of kids joining some of the players who are all coming on for their last game. So, yeah, it's an interesting occasion for a lot of players because you can't let the occasion get to you. You want to make sure that that you're just giving your best and you're not thinking about what could be. But if you go out, this is your last game. Bum ba dum bum ba da ba da bum bum ba da bum. Andrew Brace, the referee today. And we do have a whistle. We do have kickoff. Ulster playing right to left, and Billy Burns has gone down the right-hand side there. It's a pretty good take out the air. We're pretty far away from the camera, so we're not entirely sure who it was that did take it. Now it goes back, and Carty gets his first opportunity to put ball to boot, and he goes down the throat of Lowry, who goes back towards, I think it looks like Billy Burns. Nice, Dwayne Vermeulen. The big crash, and Dwayne Vermeulen gets his first carry of the day. John Cooney going towards the right-hand side now. And Kieran Treadwell is going to get on the action. The big men getting involved quite early. Now, nice little footwork coming there from James Hume. So Ulster looking to keep ball in hand in the first couple of phases here. Presenting it well to John Cooney. This will be the only opportunity to go to the box kick there. It should be pretty contestable. Rob Ballycoon's giving a good chase. Would be a good taster here for Carty. He does spill it. And the ball eventually falls back towards Hume. But I think there's been a couple of knock-ons there. No, they're carrying on. So it's fallen to Tiernan O'Halloran. turnover ball, yeah, for Connacht. Very slow ball now coming for Colin Blade. And he's can't find touch. They're just outside of 22. Rugby gets touch line, goes to Larry. Larry's looking to run. Steps around, but it's a good tackle coming in from Connor Oliver, I think it was. Now Cooney. Dwayne Vermeulen getting over the gain line as he always tends to do. A slow ball, you have Cooney barking a couple of instructions, waiting for a bit of a setup here. Bit of labour there as Alan O'Connor takes it this time. And Cooney once again is that's a nice carry as well. Now looking down the left-hand side. Billy Burns cut out pass there. Barley Cooney finds a bit of space. Cooney under a bit of pressure there. Does get a pass away. It's a good pickup as well. Oh, jeepers me. Sit down. Almost lost forward. That's a huge hit though, and they have seen it. The ball has been lost forward. But goodness me, I want to go back and see who's been absolutely sat down. But what a hit. What a hit. Oh, goodness me. He's absolutely... Look, he's hung on. He's hung on to give him his credit, where credit's due. But, yeah, to be fair, when you've got somebody at the size of David McCann running and you've got John Porch ahead of you, it's only going to look to John Porch. He hung on and he just decided, you know, if he's going, he's going to take him with him. But that's a huge hit coming from him. All right, first scrum of the day. This should be an interesting part of the game, actually, the scrum battle. So interested to see how it goes. And we're gonna have a reset here. Great, all the anticipation, all the what's gonna happen in the first scrum, and what is gonna happen. We're gonna have a reset. So not great. Let's see ourselves the scrum battle. I bet we will have an Ulster Bull semi. We're not saying for our three ESA teams who do we want to win here. Probably Connacht because. Then yeah, Connacht. You know, I don't think you want Connacht. Don't travel particularly well. Although we'd probably be playing against them. This is like the Stormers, for example. I think Connacht are more beatable than Ulster. I think Ulster got more bows to their string. More bows to their string, more strings to their bow. Steve's I'm losing it. I'm losing it. It's been a long day. And my language has just left me. Anyway, decent scrum. Then Connacht ball is available at the back. Prendergast goes to Blade, and Jack Carly decides to go himself, gets himself over the halfway line. That's a nice little carry from the fly half. Now Prendergast. Solid carry there coming as well. Nice. This is very good continuity coming here from Connacht. It was a good carry from Heffernan. They've passed the 10-meter line. Bundyaki now, he very rarely goes backwards. Nick Timoney putting a lot of pressure down at the breakdown. That's a brilliant turnover. That's McCann. That's McCann. Well, I'll tell you what, in terms of a good start, he's run over someone, he made a turnover, and David McCann is off to a pretty good start here. Gets straight over the ball, yeah. Gets over the top there. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's supporting his body weight. Because he's having to try and go over one of the Connacht players. But, yeah, fair enough. Got the turnover. Go away. Notifications on my watch. So quite a nice little start here. Quite exciting and vibrant opening 6 minutes. We've seen a bit of everything. We've seen a couple of big hits. You've seen a nice turnover. Seen some good hands as well. Good line there from Herring. Nice solid ball for McCloskey, as you'd imagine. It's a good tackle coming in though from Connor Oliver. Now Hume. That's a great put over there. Prendergast gone all over that. Pretty poor breakdown work, it must be said, from Ulster, but good work from the young number 8 to get his hands in there. And Colin Blade will waste no time in hammering that behind. And Lowry is coming back. Jacob Stockdale as well. He's got a lot of players around him, and he's just wrestling himself down to the ground. Good support play coming from his teammates. Going down the short side now. Margaret Allen now carrying down that blind side. Currie deciding to go back down the right-hand side. Kieran Treadwell with a nice solo hits as well. Now Currie, Billy Burns. To Nick Timoney. And penalty for not running away. So this is good for Ulster. Good continuity. And also going to go down the left-hand side. They're going to go try and find a good attacking line position. That should be finding touch just outside the 22. Right, so it's about halfway to the 10 metre and 22. So it's a nice attacking line here. Rob Herring will be the one to feed into the line. He's made many a line in his life. Doesn't often miss too many either. Very reliable hooker is Rob Herring. It's a good take. Looking for the rolling more here. Now they're taking out McCann. Koska's looking for the quick offload, and Billy Burns with a nice little pickup there as well. But did have a bit of a knock on there. Cooney's was asking for the offside, saying that they were up very quickly. But yeah, it was almost a good pickup from Billy Burns there. And it was McCloskey just trying to get that offload away. Goes behind Nick Timoney, and then Billy Burns just fumbles it on the ground. It's good line speed though. Very good line speed there from Jack Carey, putting McCloskey on under pressure and preventing him from getting that offload away. Solid hit there. Kind of looking pretty good actually. And the ball's available at the back. Kim Prendergast pops it up to Colin Blade. Shows it goes. He's still going himself, though. Steps inside of Billy Burns as well. Eventually brought down by John Queen. The ball comes loose. And it's a knock on there. Kim Prendergast was there and picked it up and gone. So, yeah, a couple of errors not creeping into the game. We've had quite a few scrums. A couple of handling errors. That's 2 handling errors in probably as many minutes, actually. But you can see the Ulster defense there was very, very poor. John Cooney didn't read it particularly well. And all of a sudden, there's so much space ahead of Blade. Just losing the ball in contact. So we know the scrum this time on the halfway line on the right-hand side will be an Ulster put in. I think it's going to be their first scrum of the match, actually. And a free kick now to Connacht. So, yeah, scrum time's not looking too good, for Ulster. They actually had the feed there and conceded a free kick. So that's not a particularly good start for, and they've actually called for another scrum here, which is interesting. It's against Roy Sutherland, who wasn't particularly happy with that call. But they're going to have to try and sort this out. Finley beat them. They play quite a lot of rugby together, have they? But they're going to have a nice little battle now. Time off here as Billy Burns is going to get a bit of treatment. Yeah, so it's been interesting to see the scrum battle, and I think somebody mentioned it earlier, saying the scrum battle could be an interesting one to watch. And at the moment, Ulster don't seem to have organised scrum particularly well. Billy Burns is now sitting down. Looks to be in a bit of pain here. The option off the bench for Ulster would be Stuart Moore. For 10, I suppose. Would you put a Stuart Moore? Yeah, probably would. You could put Cooney at 10. Mike Lowry can go shift into 10. But he looks to be okay. He'll be tying his boot and stuff at the moment. So Michael Lowry should be okay to continue. Looks like a reasonably full Kingspan Stadium. Doesn't look like it's packed to the rafters, but doesn't look like a terrible. No, looks like a decent crowd in, to be fair. The big York Kingspan Stadium sign over the top there. Pretty big scrum. There's not too much happening there. Ball's available at the back for Connacht. Mac Hansen is lurking. We haven't seen him touch the ball yet. And he does go to Mac Hansen. Mac Hansen pops it short to Bundyaki. Big tackle coming in on him. That's a very good carry as well. It's still going, actually. It's a brilliant carry coming in from Currie Langton. Now they decide to go out wide. And he straightens, does Farrell. Blade looking for options, decides to go down the left-hand side. A bit of a half gap, and it's Currie Langton once again through the gap. Nice flat pass from Carty. Now Bundyaki doesn't often pass. Looks to try and get his hands to the tackle though. Mac Hansen. Shrugs off Billy Burns, gets up towards the 22. Blade, pop ball goes back to Jacques Carty. Not too much. Oh no, he goes for the drop goal. And it's going to go down the right-hand side. Yeah, it wasn't particularly good. I don't think it was the right option. Bit of a kind of just sort of snatched it. Had no time to do it. Don't know why he was going for it. It's a very good carry this from Mac Hansen. He shrugs with Billy Burns. Just having a tough time in defence. Usually fly-halves do get targeted, and that's been the case today. And then it's pretty terrible attempt in the end coming from Jack Carty. Nothing much on. Didn't have too many options there, but I think he probably should have just shifted to his left, given it to a ball carrier, and just sort of found a reset. So the mark was called by Connacht, and they found by Ulster, and they found touch by the 22. So another opportunity now for Connacht to try and get an attacking lineup. Good line take there. Ian Prendergast. Oh, it's a very good carry. I tell you what, Currie Langton's been using absolutely battering around so far, and it's pretty effective so far. Now Finley beat him. Nice carry from him. Almost up to the 5 meter. Quick ball coming from Blade. Going to Prendergast. Chips it off to the left as well. Great carry. Good hands. Oliver's caught just outside the 5 meter line down the left hand side. Connacht. Blade is definitely trying to get the ball out. He wants quick ball, but he's not going to get it. And now he's got himself, I think. Not too many options there. So they're on the 5 meter line, Connacht. Pick up and go. Tackle coming in from Dwayne Vermeulen. Good carry there from Prendergast. Penalty advantage not running away for Connacht. So a bit of a free roll of the dice here. Although I can tell you what, the pick up and goes are working. Blade goes back to Carty. Carty's going to put in the cross kick over here. This is going to be a one-on-one situation. Who's going to come better? The ball comes loose. And it fell to Jacob Stockdale. They'll go back for the penalty. Interesting to see what Connacht do here. They had a lot of momentum. It is player rugby, though, so you always take the points. But I'll tell you what, a couple of good pick-up and goes there. I would almost sort of back a line out here and see if they can actually try and open the scoring. I was really impressed with the line speed there, and good distribution they're coming from Colin Blade. A couple of nice angles being run, some solid carries. The loose trio getting stuck into the game so far. Ken Prendergast, I said he's somebody to watch out for. He's been very involved early on. Doesn't look like they are going to go for the points, by the way. They're going to pick up and go here. I'll Connacht. And then knock the ball on. And that is the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. They sat there. They had a oh, a bit of afters here. Oh, this is what we like to see. A bit of bite to the game. Just add something to it, eh? Well, Ken Prendergast is on the floor. He's got a couple of Ulster players and around him. Now some more shoving coming from the Connacht players. Yeah, this is what we like to see. Good old Irish derby. Now Stuart McCloskey's getting involved with Conor Oliver. That's what we like to see. A bit of bite to the game. We don't like to see it. Maybe I shouldn't be advocating violence. Not that it's really violence. But But nice to see a bit of passion, a bit of fire into the game. But it is a knock-on, so it'll be a scrum for Ulster, and that's a bit of a free card, I suppose, for Ulster. For Connacht, that's a wasted opportunity. It would have been pretty easy points. Trying to see what instigates here. So an Ulster player gets shoved here. Kieran Prendergast comes and says to Tumaga, and I don't think so. And then all of a sudden, everybody starts getting involved. I want to see what happens with Stuart McCloskey. All of a sudden, is in a bit of a tug in there with Conor Oliver. Now we're gonna have a talking to, and it'll be listen. It's been a clean game. It's high tempers, but let's try and cool it. That's a penalty. Oh, that's a bit harsh. I think that's a bit pointless. Prendergast with the penalty. I'm not so sure it should have been a penalty. Let the kids play. Let the kids play. I don't want to have a bit of argy-bargy. Let them have a bit of argy-bargy. It's a quarter-final, Mr. Brace. Allow it. Allow it. I mean, it's silly for Prendergast. There's no need to get involved. But, I mean, it's a quarter-final. We want to see a bit of bite to the game, you know? You know what I'm saying? Billy Burns once again getting from tree, but he's not happy, I tell you what. So John Cooney will take over the kicking duties here. And yeah, you can see Billy Burns is not a happy chappy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him being pulled out on in this game. Pretty good kick though from John Cooney. He is very efficient off the boot. You can see a couple of worried Ulster coaches watching on, and they'll be very monitoring the situation with Billy Burns very closely. Carter and I started the game though. So Connacht started well here. They've managed to pin Ulster back inside their own half. It's a good take there from Ulster. Go to the front of the line up there. And O'Connor was the receiver. Once it's the call, they're running more. Rob Herring though, driving there. They are making a bit of progress, but Cooney wants the ball back to go to the boot. Right up against the touchline. Mac Hansen very, very well taken and does well as well to try and shift inside. So good counter coming in from Rob Herring, but Colin Blade eventually does use it. Now not too much on, so Blade goes to the boot. Hasn't got particularly far. Mike Lowry is coming steamy underneath this. Takes a very good tackle as well. Big carry coming from Tumaga Allen. Sorry, Rory Sutherland rather. Now they go to the right-hand side. Not looking to kick just yet. It's Cooney, I think, probably wants a bit of a cleaner ball. Yeah, you can ask for a couple of blockers there. Sutherland and O'Connor do oblige. And now Cooney will go to the boot. Again, it's nice and contestable. Battle Cooney up against Mac Hansen once again. Mac Hansen once again. Very good under the high wall there. Connacht now inside their own half. Finley Beelan looking to get them back on the front foot. Now Carty looking for distance, going on that right-hand side. Well taken from Mike Lowry. Shifts it to the left. And kick and chase coming from Jake Stockdale, but he's done... Oh, jeepers me. Well, I'll tell you what, he picked the wrong player to run into there. And O'Halloran has been hammered in the tackle, but I think it was Kieran Treadwell. Speaking of Kieran Treadwell's opposite number, Murray now taking into contact on the halfway line. Connacht now shifting towards the left-hand side. Carty. Skip pass, goes towards Finley Beelan, gets the offload away as well. Oh, he found a little bit of space here. He's burst straight through here, Sparrow. And I don't know who made the tackle. He stayed down. I think I'm not staying down. Yeah, he stayed down. I think it could be Billy Burns as well. Bandiaki now going on a bit of a run just outside the 22. Quick ball. Colin Blade to the right-hand side. Carty skips pass up towards Kieran Prendergast. He's hammered. He's thrown Hume down. Inside the 22, they do go. Oh, that's a big tackle though. McCann and Nick Timoney doing the business on Hurley Langton. And it looks like McCloskey's come through and actually stolen the ball. He has stolen the ball. To turn over ball here. And I don't see too many of those players rolling away. So it could be penalty advantage. No, the ball is available for Cooney. Goes down the right-hand side. And long ball out towards Balakoon. Is an injured player, which must be getting in the way here. Balakoon going himself. Bounces out the one tackle. Eventually brought down just shy of the 10-meter line. Yeah, I'm in the, yeah, about to say, we're all playing around an injured player here. So we're doing with the scrum, I'm sure. I'm trying to work out, it's Mike Lowry actually. HIA is going to go off. He went down like a sack of potatoes. It didn't really move, so not surprising. It was a brave tackle. It was a very good tackle from Lowry. He proper body on the line type thing. He's the last defender. This is as a fullback. I mean, you kind of have nightmares about it, but I suppose it's also what you relish. A forward make. I mean, I think it's. It's fair. I'm trying to see where. I think it's a knee to the head. No, it's elbow to the head. So not that it was intentional or anything like that. Nothing illegal in it. But Moore is on for Lowry. It's interesting to see if they do a bit of a rejig here. But yeah, that doesn't look good for Lowry. And tell you what, he's a very important player for Ulster. Nice counter-attacking fullback, likes to run with the space. Nice got a quick pace. Nice feet on him as well. Free kick though. Can you take it quickly? They're shifting down the left here, Ulster. First carry there for Stuart Moore, and they got themselves into the Connacht half. Big carry. They're coming from McCann. But met well on the tackle. Billy Burns. Hit late for tackle, McCloskey. Now Herring's found himself with a bit of space, gives it away to Balakoon. He understands his limits. Balakoon trying to get on the outside, looking for that offload. Does get back to Herring. He ball back inside. Ball to Cooney. Cooney comes down just inside the 22. Quick ball, Herring. Oh, I'll tell you what can't he do? He's everywhere at the moment. Oh, the hands, and then Billy Burns is left. But that's a great pickup from Stuart Moore. Brilliant at the handling here from Ulster in the last few phases. Penalty advantage here as well. Goes to Billy Burns. Billy Burns cut a pass towards Stockdale. Stockdale's a very important tackle coming on him from Porch, and they'll go back for the penalty, and this should very kickable and should be 3-0 with Cooney's boot, which is so reliable, and with the way this has been such a frantic start, I'd be very surprised they do anything besides take the 3, kick this over, and get themselves going. Great offload from Balakoon. Good handling there from Herring. This is some great handling on the deck there. Herring pops up, Treadwell with the offload, little push on pass from Billy Burns. A great pickup from Stuart Moore. Time is off here. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm sure Ulster will be taking the points. Be very surprised if they don't. They have called for the shot. So a shot will be taken. It is a Friday night, so there'll be plenty of shots taken around the world tonight. Right, Cooney now. Yeah, it's a good kick from him as well. Right, Ulster take first blood. Now, we did say that the first person to score a try, first team to score a try, has won the last 5 games, but not the first team to score at any points. So we still wait for that first try, which genuinely seems to be the trend. Yeah, a lot of Stormers fans supporting Connacht because obviously Ulster finishing above them, and so any chance of a home semi-final go up a lot. Well, guaranteed if Ulster go. So if Ulster go out and Stormers win, they will have a home semi-final. If Leinster go out tomorrow and Ulster out, then Stormers get themselves a home final. It's unlikely, but stranger things have happened. Right, Connacht on have found themselves teaming line, not the great line though. Colin Blake goes to Carty. All the way back in their own half. Somebody's going to have to try and take content, try and get them on the front foot. And Colin Oliver does take on the responsibility and a penalty for not rolling away against Stuart McCloskey. So penalty on the halfway line. And I'm sure they'll be eyeing up that left-hand touchline. They've gone for touch and they find themselves on the 22, so an opportunity here for Connacht to try and hit back. Ken Prendergast has been well taken, almost like to take out, but Mac Hansen comes on the back of the line out. Does find a couple of meters. Very good ball carrier is Mac Hansen. That's a big tackle, but it was needed as well. Very good physicality. I'm impressed with physicality so far in this game. Penalty advantage as well. Finley Beattie stepping towards his left-hand side, but then getting offload away. But the ball then going forward, I think it was off Colin Blade, so it'll be a penalty. And decision time once again here for Connacht. It is probably kickable. Roy Sutherland, it's a good tackle initially coming from him, but then he gets pinned down. Can't roll away. And he gets pinged for not rolling. So it looks like they are going to take the points this time. Jack Carty's asked for his kicking team. Looking to try and square things up here. Quite I think probably have had the better start. So you almost feel it's almost unfair for, well, they'll feel it's unjustified that Ulster are the team ahead, given the fact that Connacht did definitely have the better start. But you got to take opportunities. They had an opportunity with the tap and go by the try line and just spilt it in the first contact, literally in the first contact. So that's a pretty poor error to make. Right, and a good kick from Jack Carty. Right, scores level after 24 minutes. Not much to speak of so far in the way of points, which is player rugby at the end of the day. You know, you don't often see big high-scoring affairs. You expect it to be quite tight, expect it to be very close, expect it to be a couple of errors, and it's a bit, sometimes these games can be a case of, who blinks first, really. So Ulster took first blood, but Connacht have leveled the scores 3-3 after almost 25 minutes. Restart goes into the hands of Mac Hansen, who gets away from Roy Herring and is brought down by Nick Timoney. Colin Blade goes to Conor Oliver, who's holding his head. Colin Blade looking for a touch. Well, we can't find touch. Right up against the touchline, though. Moore goes back inside to Dwayne Vermeulen. Big K from Dwayne Vermeulen. A couple of meters being made there as well. Roy Sutherland, good offload. Billy Burns once again hammered. And it's a very, very impressive line speed from Connacht once again. And they've turned the ball over. The line speed from the back line has been very impressive. They've kept Ulster from progressing a couple of times and turn over the ball. Now, turnover ball here. Mac Hansen cuts back inside. Oh, that's great handling. That is brilliant handling. And the offload. Finley beat him with a bit of space. Brought down by Roy Sutherland. It's a fantastic little touch from Carty earlier. Farrell goes himself. Oh, ball out the back to Carty, who then just takes the hit. Really impressive offloading this from Connacht. Now going on the left-hand side. Strong carry from Heffernan. Now Bundyaki to Mac Hansen. Oh no! And as we were just talking about how impressive the handling was. Well, I'll tell you what, counter could be a Rob Badicky's find a bit of space. Ball inside to O'Cooney as well. He goes outside of Carty, goes to the boot. Who's going to have the pace here? Porch should have the pace, does have the pace, but Cooney doesn't. Well, it's not Porch, in fact. And he's been penalised for diving on him. And it's harsh. I tell you, it's harsh. You can't resist the temptation not to dive on top of him. But Cooney just goes to the boot, and O'Halloran always had the pace. Dives on him, and then Currie guilty of diving on top of him. Yeah, so he probably means he's got to stay on his feet. And that's the dreadful, dreadful knock-on coming earlier from John Porch. He's not had a particularly good start to the game. Yeah, he's just losing his footing and going off his feet there, John Cooney. So it's a silly penalty to concede. He'll be annoyed with himself because he was aiming under all sorts of pressure. Well, Ballycoon, very, very good finisher. Lots of pace about him as well, so you don't want to give him too much space. Matt Hanson's gone off, by the way. That could be another HIA. So that's 2 players who've gone off early. And one Scrum Cup backline player has been replaced by another as Byron Ralston comes onto the park. He's wearing the black Scrum Cap, at least we can see who's who. And we're going to end the poll there. We had 150 people voting for who they thought was going to win. And after 115 votes, Ulster was 65% of the vote. So it wasn't particularly, it wasn't as dominant as you kind of expect. John Porch is getting some taper out his head. He's been in the wars today and not had the best of starts to proceed. He's finally beat him though. The man just ahead of him has had a very good start. Carried pretty well. Has had some good success in scrum so far. It's a good kick coming from Carty. Finds touch just by the halfway line. So can't be able to get themselves into back into Ulster's half. Dion's saying Stormers to win by 13 against the Bulls tomorrow. Well, that would suit the bet. Trying to work with each other, trying to see what happened with Mac Hansen. It didn't look like he hit a particularly hard hit. So I'm not entirely sure what's happened to him. This doesn't look straight. Oh, bit of a fumble there, but the ball does fall back towards Colin Bain eventually. Long pass out towards Carty. He's built it. What hands though from Ulster. And a bit of a gap opening up as well. Brilliant carry from Nick Timoney. Good breakdown work. Oh, Rob Herring back at scrum half. Billy Burns goes to Jacob Stockdale. Jacob Stockdale goes into the 22. Cooney now going flat to Rory Sutherland. Good carry from him. And a couple of players need to arrive there. Rob Herring arriving too late though. Very important turnover coming. And I'll tell you what, you can see from the celebration from Dennis Buckley. It's not what he's in the team to do, the Lou said, but just got himself a bit isolated there, Rory Sutherland. And Buckley and Oliver on it very quickly. In fact, I think it was Shirley Langton who assisted with that turnover. But this is brilliant hands there from Billy Burns. And you could just see, I think it was Tumaga Allen who overran the support line. Wasn't there, and Rob Herring arriving far too late. So Ulster, every single time they've had some very good moments, and then just a couple of mistakes, conceding a penalty. And Connacht now, after dominating, kind of living on the edge a little bit, living off the scraps. Connacht to back of the line. It's another messy line. It's going to fall towards Rob Herring, who eventually does. Oh, he's lost it forward as well. That should be a double knock-on. Not a double knock-on, no. Well, they kicked the ball back, so they lost the advantage. Stockdale steps inside of one, and another looks almost like a very good turnover, but the ball is available for Cooney. And once again, Ulster almost guilty of not protecting the ball particularly well. Big counteract now coming in from Connacht. Grant Brennan comes in and just cleans it up and says, right, chaps, you guys need to stop being amateur hour here. Let me sort this out for you. It's behind the air is Cooney. And the ball pops out of the hands of Porch. Falls to Heffernan. Now Bandiaki. All variables. Around the 10-meter line, back to Carter. Not too much on, so he's going to go to the boot. Goes down that right-hand side. Kick and chase there from Stuart Moore. Bounce the rugby ball. Good work there from Carty. Very composed as well. Ball inside to Kim Prendergast. We found a lot of space, but that's really, really poor. It's a penalty against Connacht for obstruction. I think it's John Porch, who I'll tell you, is having an absolute nightmare of a game. The space, there was so much space to just open up in front of Prendergast, but only because Porch had taken out the tackle. I'm trying to work out. Yeah, you got to feel sorry for Porch. He was just standing there. The ball goes to Prendergast, and Cooney runs into him and gets in front between him and Prendergast, who had so much space ahead of him. Could have been interesting to see what he could have done with that space. But Ulster found themselves with another attacking out as Rob Herring walks towards the 22. They're just outside the 22 as the half an hour mark has ticked by. Good line up there. Pops it up towards back to Rob Herring. And McCloskey has knocked it on. It wasn't the best pass, but another poor handling error. Far too many handling errors in this game. Now Blake Carty, not a great pass to Farrell, but it's a good take from him. Finney beat him. Dwayne Famino asking for a couple of the runners on his side. Kick comes in from Carty and Ballycoon is retreating. He's got Stuart Moore outside. He does pop it up to Stuart Moore. Stuart Moore looking to run. There's a bit of traffic though. A couple of Ulster players are there. The ball does pop up though. Back towards Connacht. Turnover ball. I tell you what, a little bit of space. It's a big tackle, an important tackle coming from McCloskey. If the hands came through there, then they would have been down probably about 2 or 3 or 1. Oh, Prendergast with a little kick and chase. Things you love to see from the number 8. Ballycoon under a bit of pressure here, actually. And he's made the tackle as well. Now a big counter-attack coming from Connacht. And they've won the penalty. Well, Kian Prendergast take a bow. That's absolutely brilliant from the number 8. Identified the space, kicked her behind, gave chase, put the pressure on Rob Ballycoon. Then the counter-attack arrived, straight through. Penalty as well for Connacht. And with 9 minutes to go, going back into the game. And I think it all comes back to that. It's a great little turnover there coming from Hurley Langton. Yeah, and such good pressure came from Connacht. So many Connacht players arriving there. Not much better King could have done there, to be fair. But just brilliant from Ken Prendergast. Right, decision time now for Connacht. Are they going to go for the scrum? Going to go for the line out? Tell you what, I think the scrum was working pretty well here. Hurley Langton had a good start to the game. He'll be chuffed for this first half. They're taking the points. Didn't realize it was this far in field. They're taking the points. Jack Carty for the lead with 7 minutes to go in the first half. That's a good kick as well. So Connacht do take the lead. 6 points to 3. Just the 9 points in the opening half an hour. It's been very close. A couple of handing errors keeping in. The games were a little bit sloppy. A bit of nerves, I think, there. So I'm hoping that the game will open up a little bit more in the second half. Right, first touch of the ball for Byron Ralston is on for Tom McHanson. Inside ball to Conor Oliver, and he popped it out to Colin Blake. Colin Blake's got a lot of space. Inside, gets the offload away. Oh, jeepers, Hurley Langton's thrown away Rob Ballycoon. He's had a second go and lost it again. Brilliant this work from Connacht, back inside Ulster territory. Bandiaki, ball out towards Carty, I think it is. Now Farrell goes to himself to the boot. Oh, it's been knocked forward as well. Error on error, and Stuart Moore has compounded Ulster's troubles with another knock-on. As I said, far too many errors creeping into the game here. It's a brilliant inside ball there. And the kick from men behind, just bobbling it up in front of him and knocking it on forward. All of a sudden, Connacht, who were deep inside their own half, are going to have... That's a big hit coming on Rob Callaghan. All of a sudden, they're going to have a scrum on the 22 of Ulster. A solid hit there. Pretty solid, not too much movement. It's just inside 22. They've got the full left-hand side to work with to Connacht. Now a bit of a second shove coming in. They do use it. Carty, and it's been left behind. And it's actually fallen to James Hume. Hume's come away with it. That's a high tackle. Surely he's asked for it and he's gotten it. Billy Burns now, a couple of numbers. They do have penalty advantage to Ulster. Tell you what, Hume could have been away there as well. We'll go back for the penalty advantage. I really don't like the fact that all these players keep asking for the penalty. It's becoming a bit of a sketchy one. Like, the referee can see the high tackle. Don't need to always be consistently asking for it. Really, really poor. That's not a great tackle from Carty. Just a bit of a seatbelt tackle. Pretty easy penalty to take, and Billy Burns will be able to get them out of a bit of pressure. I'll tell you what, Connacht, if they were just a bit more clinical, it could be well ahead here. I've got a 3-point lead, and Ulster just haven't really arrived so far, to be honest. So 4 minutes to go. Could be a perfect opportunity now for Ulster to try and score a try and then sort of go into half-time with a bit of momentum. Right, just 3 minutes to go. Rob Herring. That's a brilliant steal, though, from Connacht, and that's what they've also done pretty well, actually. To be fair, both teams have done quite well to just disrupt each other when they've needed to, but another turnover ball here for Connacht. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we go into half-time with a 3 points to 6 scoreboard, because there's not too much at the moment. A little bit, let's say, lacking a bit of... Lacking that final sort of touch, really, isn't it? Now Jacob Stockdale looking to try and get things back on the front foot. It's a nice solid carry from him. And it's a turnover for Connacht. Once again, as I said, the breakdown for Ulster has been really poor. I'd love to see what the turnover stats are. We will have a look at half-time. In fact, we're going to try and move. I'm going to move to my other view and see if we do have the breakdown stats, turnover stats. If we don't there. We've just got penalties. You can see it's 6 apiece at the moment. Possession, 43, 57% for Ulster. But I think Connacht, it's really good hands there as well. And they get up to the halfway line. Colin Blade's gone down. There was a knock on. He's holding his head as well. It could be another HIA. Doesn't look too bad here. But let's have a look at some of the stats. So no tries so far. Just the 2 penalty goals to 1. Penalties here at 6 piece. Line-out wins. They both lost a line-out. The Connacht scrum says that they've lost one. I think they've actually had the better scrum so far in the game. Possession-wise has been pretty one-sided. Ulster have had the bulk of the possession. Just haven't done much with it. Klosky now also having a bit of a check on his hit there, so potential 2 HIAs coming in, yeah. James, the Connacht, hope it's Bulls versus Connacht at Loftus next week. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'd be surprised. I would be very surprised. I don't think it can be. Connacht will probably be playing. Yeah, I suppose it could be. Actually, yeah, I'll check the thing. No HIAs though, which is good to see. It is a penalty for a high tackle on Colin Blade from Stuart McCloskey. That's the clean out there that Watchalong is taking the hit for. Jeepers, it doesn't look great, does it, from Heffernan? He doesn't. I mean, you can almost see these with his hands over here, and all of a sudden his hands are going out all over the place. Didn't look like the best of cleanouts. Right, 1 minute left. McCluskey's getting a bit of talking to from Andrew Brace. Can Connacht try and score a try before half time? As I said, in the last 5 meetings, the first team to score a try have gone on to win the match. So it could be quite a significant moment on the match if there were to be a try. They do win the line out. It was a good challenge there, but it's well taken in the end by Murray. Heffernan controlling things to the back, gives it away to Colin Blade. Goes to Bandiaki, who sits down Billy Burns, eventually brought up by Nick Timoney. Now Hurley Langton, who's been so involved so far, but a good tackle coming from Rob Herring. Connor Oliver. And he's fallen right in front of Nick Timoney, who's been pulled over, so it's good work there. Penalty advantage for Connacht. So they'll be able to at very least take the 3 points, but what do they want more? They do want more. Oh, jeepers, and that's another knock on. I'll tell you what, the quality of rugby has not been great. But it's a close game. It's playoffs. You can see a lot of nerves out there. This should be 9 points to 3, though. And O'Connor, the captain, having a conversation with Andrew Brace there. Jack Carty ready to take the penalty. So, yeah, half-time, it should be 9 points to Connacht, 3 points to Ulster. I think that's a fair reflection of the game, to be fair. A lot of sloppiness in it. It hasn't been particularly a clean game. The first couple of minutes, the tempo's been nice, and it's promised to be a good game. You know, there's been some nice moments, been nice offloads, and then just a couple of mistakes, which have crept in. So it's been frustrating. I think Connacht have been the better side, certainly the more exciting side so far. Some nice handling at times from both teams, but this is right in front, and Jack Carty should be able to add the extra 3, and he does. And that's half time, right? Half time, 3 points to 9. Ulster trailing Connacht, which is a favourable result if you are a Stormers fan or South African fan, or I suppose any fan of anybody left in the competition, because Ulster did finish second, so this would be an upset if they were to go out now. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you guys. By the way, we need 5 people to subscribe, and we're at 25,000 subscribers. 24,500 subscribers. So please do that if you haven't already. I want to try and get to 25,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So that is the plan. Feel free to add your bit to it. And we'll see you guys in about 10 minutes' time. Right, and we are back for the second half, and Connacht leading Ulster 9 points to 3 is a pretty sloppy first half, just in general, and not really the sort of quality of rugby we come to expect from both these teams. So a bit frustrating. Hopefully, we'll see a bit of a better second half. I'd like to see a bit more. Well, probably a lower error rate. I think is probably what we really want to see. You know, I think far too many knock-ons, far too many silly mistakes coming from both sides. Probably Ulster more, but Connacht as well. I think Connacht actually could be well ahead yet, and they've kind of kept Ulster in the game by not being as clinical as they probably should have been. So it's been a frustrating time, I think, for Connacht, but. Yeah, they do think get things underway. They go down the right-hand side. They'll be playing right to left in this half, and Ulster left to right. And this is important because an Ulster loss, or rather a Connacht win, would see a South African semi-final in South Africa, which is what I think all South Africans want to see. So. Yeah, a pretty important result this potentially as it stands. The question is, can Connacht hold on, or will Ulster be too strong for them? We all know Ulster are a very physical side and can very much, at home especially, can punish you. But Connacht look pretty good. But actually, immediately into the action off the back of the lineup there. Looking to try and get up to a solid start here. Another good carry there. Kieran Prendergast had a brilliant first half and very impressed with him. Pick up and go. Good offload there as well. Heffernan eventually taking him well down to ground. And a more call. That's really, really good defense. But you need more of that from us. A couple of moments, a couple of players kind of just sort of stepping up and being a point of difference. I think that's probably what I don't think enough players are taking responsibility right now in this Ulster side in the first half there. So yeah, just need to sort of tighten things up a little bit, but not too much to. I don't think they have to change too much. They should be more accurate. I think at the end of the day, there's far too many basic errors. They have made a change, by the way. And Gareth Milicinovic has come onto the park. He has replaced Tumaga Allen. Lowry, by the way, also off in the first half, has not come back, but Mac Hansen has returned for Connacht, so that's a nice boost for them. And we're going to have another reset here. Dwayne Vermeulen has had a push up there as well. Getting involved here, the South Africa number 8. If they were to lose, it would be his last game for Ulster. Big lad is Milicinovic. Packs a big punch. Lots of weight behind him, the big tight head. There's a lot of afters coming in here. But pretty unnecessary, to be honest. Heffernan seems to be in the heart of quite a lot of it as well. But going to throw up a poll here, and the poll is going to be, can Connacht hold on to win? Penalty for Connacht. And a big celebration coming from them as well. Maybe not can, will Connacht hold on to win? That's going to be the poll, so I've thrown it up there. You guys can go and vote. Let me know if you guys are backing Connacht to get the job done, or if Ulster will come back from behind to win the game. If they are, they're going to have to scrum a lot better. The scrums have been a problem for Ulster. They're going to need to try and sort that out sooner rather than later. Yeah, Milicinovic just going straight underneath there. Interesting to see Dwayne Vermeulen pack it down. We often see him in Nick Timothy's rotating, where one will pack down an 8th man on attack, another one and a different one on defense. So you can see Dwayne Vermeulen on the side of the scrum there. And Jack Carty's going to be lined up his 3rd penalty attempt, so this would be for a 9-point lead, which is quite a significant number. Who do I think will win the URC? Well, I think it's Leinster's to lose. However, they have named a pretty wouldn't say a weak side. They've rotated quite a lot tomorrow. So, if the Sharks were to beat a side... Oh, it's come up the post there, and they're posting in from Jack Carty. Yeah, and all of a sudden, I think the Ulster fans starting to panic a little bit as they're falling further and further behind the game and just can't find a way back into it. Interesting to see what, in terms of off the bench, the Ulster can bring on the likes of Stuart Moore's already on the park. Eric O'Sullivan could be a decent option, although I think Roy Sutton's played pretty well. Stuart Moore goes inside to Dwayne Vermeulen. I think I need a big second half performance from him. Ball's available. Cooney pops it up. Not too much new options there. Bandiaki getting over the ball and getting over the ball very well. Winning the penalty. As I said, the breakdown work has been really, really good for Connacht, but in the reverse, the ball retention from Ulster's been dreadful. I actually want to go check out some of the stats here and see how many turnovers Ulster have conceded, because it's been really, really poor. It's been far too easy for Connacht to turn over the ball. I mean, we've had everyone. We've had loose heads turning the ball over. Now we've seen Bandiaki winning turnovers. And you got to look at some of the stats over here. Turnovers 1. It says 4 there. I think it's more, though, to be honest. But that's just, I mean, if you look at the stats, it's all just one-way traffic. 60% possession, 66% territory, 60% territory. More meters run, more than twice as many defenders beaten. More gain line carries, more pass, more offloads, more turnovers won, more kicks from hand, more rucks won. They're tackling at a higher percentage. They haven't missed a goal kick. Their ruck percentage is much better. I mean, this is a telling stat. 88% ruck percentage for Ulster. That is dreadful. You've got to be operating the high 90s. They've got on a bit of a move here. Kind of gone down short here. It comes just on the 5-meter line there. Currie Langton helping it at a scrum off there. They've now gone a little bit back with lots of few meters. Going very tight here, Connacht. And Bandiaki now. Solid defense, though, from Ulster. Not getting too much headway. That's a really good carry from Prendergast, but it's a good tackle coming from Milicevic. Murphy not getting too much gain line advantage here. James Hume as well. Good tackle from him. So they're going through quite a few phases here. It must be about the 10th phase at least. They haven't seen a pop-up coming here with counting the phase, but it's been quite a few phases. But so far, to be fair, pretty good defense coming from Ulster. And now the ball's come loose. Prendergast has picked it up and got over, but surely it's going to be a knock-on or is it knock backwards? What's going to be the decision? I'm going to have a look over here. They might have to have a look here, This could be a try for. This could be one of the most fortuitous tries you're going to see all weekend, because I think that this has actually been knocked backwards out the hands from an Ulster player, and then Prendergast has picked it up and gone over. So this could be a try, and I'll tell you what, if this is a try, you don't want to say it's game, set, and match, but all of a sudden, that would put Connacht at 17 points, kick to come, could be 19 points to 3. Gone backwards, Prendergast has picked it up, he's done it. I'll tell you what, I think this could be a try. So is this a knock-on from Blade, or is it been knocked out of his hands from Stuart McCloskey? So I think it's actually going to be a knock-on in the end of it. I think that he's pulled the arm here, so I think the ball's come loose, but not actually hit it down. So it won't be a try, it'll be a knock-on. Ulster do survive a big scare. That would have been a huge scare as well. Ulster Sharky just saying he's already booking his ticket to Loftus next week. It's a brave call. A lot needs to happen there. Connacht need to win, and the Bulls going to need to go and win. But hey, if you back your boys that much, then I like the confidence. So it'll be a scrum on the 5-meter line. It will be Ulster ball. But at the moment, Ulster looking a little bit frazzled at the moment. Big hit coming from Connacht, and Nick Timoney with the back of the scrum, picking up and going. McCloskey and Ray Vermeulen much better ball retention at the breakdown. Now Jacob Stockdale, big left boot of his. Not the best clearance. They haven't gone outside the 22. So Connacht still very much with momentum and territory. But they're not taking their chances, and Ulster not playing well. But you can't sit there waiting for them to try and come back, because they will. So they've got to take the chances. They're going to try and get the victory here. They're all over Ulster. They've definitely got the momentum. They've definitely been the better side. 9 points ahead. Ken Prendergast, he's been very good, very impressive so far. Very short ball to Currie Langton. Big hit from him from David McCann, but he's shrugged it off very easily and kept going. Connor Oliver, Sutherland bringing him down. Finley Beelum. This is much better from Connacht. Currie Langton. They're 2 meters short here. Bandiaki. Oh, what is that? That's dreadful. That is absolutely dreadful. Bandiaki, you should be shot and quartered for that. That is a dreadful pass. Turnover ball for Ulster. Once again, they survive. And Bandiaki, I've got no idea what that was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be a kind of pass towards the wing, but he ended up throwing it onto the floor. It's been picked up, I think it was Stuart Moore, and all of a sudden, turnover ball, yeah, John Cooney's going to have an opportunity to kick the ball downfield. Ulster will survive. That's not a great kick from Cooney. So they're really trying to get outside their 22 here, Ulster, but to be honest, they don't even have to defend that well, because Connacht are creating their own areas themselves. This is dreadful, absolutely dreadful. I mean, it's a forward pass as well. I mean, goodness me. Oh, it's a big hit. McCann's absolutely bowled it over by Currie Langton. Right, once again, here we go. Connacht from the back of the line out. Oh, and the ball been knocked forward. You can't script it. Rob Balakoon, who had never bad swell. Now McCloskey says, bugger this. He perhaps puts it to the right boot. And it's been kicked behind. I think this is Mac Hansen, who seems to have lost the scrum cap. Yeah, lost his number, lost his scrum cap. Shame, man's lost everything out tonight. And that looks pretty good from our hearing. No penalty. Not releasing from Rob Herring. That's a big mistake. Just when Ulster, you can see a bit of size and a bit of frustration in and amongst those Ulster players towards Rob Herring, who thought he had rights to play this. Let's have a look over here. Yeah, never releasing whatsoever. Yeah, I can see it's that right hand over there from Rob Herring, which never shows. It never separates. There's no release ever. And all of a sudden, once again, Ulster, who, as I say, I mean, Connacht are giving them the chances to exit. It's kind of like a situation where it's like, well, we'll play badly, and everyone's like, no, we'll play worse. Like, no, we'll make the mistakes, and the other team's like, no, we'll make the mistakes. I mean, in the last 5 minutes, we've seen a dreadful pass from Bandiaki. We've seen a dreadful attempted catch. We've then seen a really poor penalty. And, you know, which team is wants it? Which team is actually going to start playing a bit of rugby here? Tell you what, Rory Sutherland's doing very well there, and they've come through cheap with Heaven, and he's left the ball behind. Backwards is the call. Mac Hansen decides to go the direct route. Slightly isolated. Currie Langton's another big carry. Nick Timoney doing well to bring him down. He's been an absolute wrecking ball as Currie Langton so far. That's a much better tackle. Bandiaki. Get away from Milicevic. Still going. Colin Blair looking for quick ball to Kian Prendergast. For me, it could be up there for man of the match at the moment, along with the likes of Colin Blair. I think it's also been pretty impressive. Oh, ball's got through the hands, but it's been wrapped up by Heffernan, and he's slightly isolated. So Connacht have lost some momentum. Back towards 22 they go. Currie Langton once again getting a couple of meters. He's played very well today. Finley beat him, hit hard in the tackle. Just outside 22 here. A couple of gaps opening up there. And Murphy's made a couple of yards. Carty goes flat. And I think it's obstruction, yeah. Yeah, so it's a penalty for Ulster, who are hanging in there. Look, to be fair, under siege, and they've survived. So they have an opportunity. Right from here, looks a bit knackered. Yeah, it's Prendergast there. He's made contact with McCloskey as one trying to support the ball carrier. So Ulster finally found themselves into Connacht. I don't think they've been there the entire half, you know. Carl Pizza coming. Ulster, Mr. Boss said this game reminds me of games between the Fabulous Rebels and the Great Mighty Force. Dreadful. Yeah, it has been a really, really bad game. It's one thing we can probably all agree on. It's not been particularly watchable. But still time for it to turn around until 25 minutes. Hopefully we can see a better 25 minutes. What we could also still do is try and work our way to 24,500 subscribers. So if you guys are new to the channel, there must be 3 new people here. Go and subscribe. Yes, to that number. Good line up there. Good flat ball there. McCloskey now. Billy Burns wrapping around. This looks much more promising. Billy Burns up toward the 10-meter line. That's much better from Ulster. Cooney now. Quick ball to McCloskey. And the penalty to Connacht. Well, there we go. The first opportunity that Ulster have. Big celebrations from John Porch, who seems to have swapped. What is going on with the headgear here? I think John Porch is like, he was a red scrum cap, now he's in a grey scrum cap. Mac Hampson was in the scrum cap, now he's not in the scrum cap. This is making my job very, very difficult. But a bit isolated there. Crawling on the ground, in fact, is the call. It was a really, really good move off the back of the line out here. Some nice offloads there. Billy Burns, nice ball over the top. And they go to the short side, and McCloskey's pinged for crawling. But as I said, every single time, either team, oh, they got found touch. You see what I mean? So Stockton, and they've lost 20 meters now. Every single time they've got a chance trying to assert themselves, do something, they make another mistake. Carty over here, and you can just see hooks it. It's done very well to keep it in. Let's have a look over here, shall we? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That's well kept in. Connacht still with the territory, though. They'll be just past the 10-meter line. But that's it. The amount of the error rate in this game is dreadful. It's like the teams just don't want to take the chance. So I suppose you could put that down to a player of rugby. It's never going to be always champagne rugby, but I just like to see more accurate. I don't mind close games. A couple of changes here. Unjier's on for Finley Beelum. Sheen Darling as well, and from Murray. Inside ball there from Prendergast. First carry for I think that's Dylan Tini-Marty actually. So a full brand new front row for Connacht. Carty tip over the top. That's a bit of variation there. How's the ball? The bounce. It bounces to Moore. He throws a very loose pass out, and a lot of pressure here for Jacob Stockdale. He's under a lot of pressure. And a lot of Ulster players have to come back. They've done very, very well to retain this, actually. They're all the way back inside the 22 under a lot of pressure, Ulster. They just can't get out of their half and stay out of their half. Now, Cooney not going to find touch. Right, Halloran, haven't seen much of him this half. Goes himself, brought down by Hume, just in front of Dwayne Vermeulen. Bundy Aki pick up and go. Dwayne Vermeulen's lurking. He wants to try and get into that jackal position. Inside ball. And I think there's a forward. I don't know what the call is here. I think there's a forward pass or there's an obstruction. We still haven't seen what the referee's actually called. I think it's a forward pass. Yeah, forward pass is the call. Yeah, not good rugby. Sloppy. Come on, guys. Let's see something a little bit tighter here. Let's. Carty inside ball. Oh, that seems a bit harsh, you know. I don't think that was a pass then, to be fair. It was a good option actually from Carty. There's been very little variation throughout the game, so it's not the worst idea just to have a little chip over the top. Right, a couple of subs here for Ulster as well. So it looks like Tom Stewart's on. Nick Timoney's also been replaced for Geordie Murphy. So that means that it looks like Dwayne Vermeulen will have to go the full distance. Interesting decision. But time off over here. And I'll tell you what, I think Ulster probably actually needs a bit of time off here. Probably need a couple of. They just need someone to just grab the game by the scruff of the neck and just get going. Because you know, and to be fair, we all want to see a home semi-final for the South African teams. But to be honest, I'm actually over Connacht because they've been so bad at taking the opportunities. And you almost want to see a team punished for that. You know, you want to play bad, you want to be sloppy, you want to just not take your opportunities. You almost want to see them punished for them and say, yeah, well, this is what happens. You want to throw bad passes, knock-ons. You've been very good at the breakdown. I've also been terrific for the breakdown. But it's just been very, very sloppy. Right, they're on the left-hand side here at Ulster. McCloskey popping up. That's good work. Should more going towards Stockdale. Very, very well done there from Ulster. They get themselves up to the 10 meter. They look pretty good off the set piece, to be honest. Probably need more of that. Up toward the 10 meter line, Billy Burns. You get him more involved, actually. McCloskey around the back there. It's a good step there from Hume. Still going. It's Hume past the 10 meter line. Sutherland, bit hard in the tackle though. Very good tackle. And they're trying to hold him up. He does get down. Need to release. Ball is available for Currie. Goes to Stewart. Scored a lot of tries with Stewart. Balakoon on the angle. Balakoon is through. Down the left-hand side he goes. He's eventually brought down inside the 22. Much better from Ulster. Currie, quick ball. They've got numbers. Stockdale comes inside. And it's been turned over by Connacht. Has it then been returned over, or has it? No, it's come back the side of Connacht. That's a brilliant turnover on the ground. Goodness me. Well, that's a really good moment for a sloppy Connacht. They've done that a couple of times, actually. As I said, neither team wants to score at the moment. Now back to Carty. Carty needs a good kick. Very decent kick. Starts out at 22. So Ulster still with good position. And I'll tell you what, they've looked very good off the back of set pieces. So this wouldn't be the worst position for them. It's a great little run there from Balakoon on the angle. Initially, good break from James Hume. He sucks on a few defenders. And then Cooney just on the shoulder there. Balakoon running through. Prendergast can't make the tackle. It's the first mistake he's really made. Yeah, it's really, really good work from Mac Hansen. That is why he is one of the star players, isn't he? Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's funny how playoff games do strange things to strange people, yeah. Right, just outside 22 from Ulster, what can they conjure up in the back of the seat piece, which has been much better in the second half? A couple of scrums, they've had a couple of nice moves, a couple of nice handling. Pieces from the back line. We're going to Dwayne from in. Let's win and doubt, go to Thor, boys. Come on, boys. See what they can conjure up. Do something cool. Do a trick. Stuart, this is where Stuart breaks down the short side. Stuart going himself. I'll tell you what, this has been a pretty good cameo already from Stuart. He knows how to find the try line. Jacob Stockdale picks it up and goes himself. It's a good carry from him. He got to the 5-meter line. Penalty advantage as well for Ulster. Sutherland hit hard in the tackle. Stuart, that's a big tackle on him. That was really like a book. They go down the short side though. Chip over the top from Billy Burns. And it's well covered by Colin Blade, but they'll go back for the penalty. And one imagines they'll just chip this into the corner and go once again. Ulster all of a sudden seem to have woken up a little bit. Aldrich Archer is saying, one thing watching 2 seasons of URC is the Irish derby is always cagey. You make a very good point. And I think, to be fair, it's a bit like tomorrow's game, the North-South derby, Bulls versus Stormers, which in theory you'd think should be, and again, you look at the teams, should be pretty straightforward for the Stormers. But it's funny how as soon as you get into a derby situation, teams lift themselves. Sometimes areas, the occasion can get to people. And I think tomorrow's going to be a lot closer than I think some people would have thought it's going to be. So Ulster on the 5-meter line here. It's going to be an HIA here, I think, on James Hume. Right, Jared Butler's on for Kieran Prendergast. Thought he had a good game, actually. I think you're going to see a lot of Kieran Prendergast in the next few years. I think post-World Cup, I reckon you're going to see him start being filtered into that Irish side. He's got a lot to offer this Irish side. And very good player for Connacht. Right, they go to the front of the line. Good take there from Sam Carter, who's on the park. It's a good sack, though. They're just short here, Ulster. And penalty. So I think it is for collapsing. Once again, they'll go to the corner once again. That's back-to-back penalty, I think. So now all of a sudden, a lot of pressure on Connacht. Look, a converted try only puts Ulster 2 points behind, so they wouldn't take a lead or anything. James saying, why did that sub Prendergast been the best player all night? I tend to agree, unless he's spent, unless he's, sometimes players just, they make the call. It's either make the call themselves or they can notice a bit of a drop off. But yeah, I agree. I think he was playing really, really well. Ulster setting up the maul here, desperately trying to get some go forward ball. Jacob Stockdale's come and joined it. Stewart is going to use it. Stewart gets it through. Doesn't place. It's very well done. Oh, it's straight over. And who is that? Not Matt Canson, John Porch. Of course, it's John Porch. Poor lad's had an absolute stinker tonight. Went early, and Alan O'Connor goes over. Ulster eventually find the try line. It is the captain. It's taken them 64 minutes. And funny enough, what did we say in the initial sort of build up? In the last 5 games, the team that scored the first try has gone on to win it. So this could be a pretty big moment in the game. Very well done by Stuart not to reach the try line, to be honest. Be able to recycle that. And then, yeah, Porch went early to try, and I don't know what he was trying to do, to be honest, but he just completely missed it. And, yeah, and Connor's just fallen over with nobody in front of him. Poor Porch just had an absolute nightmare tonight, to be honest. You don't want to single out somebody, but he's not had a good day. Very important kick that from Cooney, and it is over, right? It's a 2-point game, and all of a sudden, Ulster with a bit of momentum. They've got 15 points. A penalty will be enough. A try will be enough. As I said, in the last 5 meetings, the team that scored the first try have won. 100% of them. And the home team has won the last 80% of the last 5 games. So 4 of the last 5 games have been won by the home team in this fixture. So interesting to see some of the replacements here. We've still got Jordan Duggan, Kieran Marmion, and Tom Daly on the bench for Connacht, Eric O'Sullivan, Nathan Doak, Craig Gilroy. Very, very high kick there from Cooney, putting a bit of pressure. It's a good chase as well and Holloran. So back towards the halfway line for Connacht. That's a much better clearance there from Ulster. Suddenly seem to be playing with a bit of spring in their step. So Gilroy is on for Hume. We did wonder about that. Looked like he took a bit of a knock. Right, ball over the top. Mac Hansen is in acres of space. Comes back inside. Stuart Moore. Bounces Stuart Moore, but then managed to get the ball in touch. No, he throws the ball back inside. Pretty sure he was out. Right, Marmion is on for Connacht. So Blade has gone off. And a penalty for Ulster. And I think that is... Yeah, it's the replacement. Jordy Murphy's gone over the ball and won a penalty. As I said, all of a sudden, things seem to be shifting a little bit in terms of momentum. Ulster had to weather a big storm early on. And... yeah, the last 10 minutes has been one-way traffic, and it's been the men in white who have suddenly found a bit of a spring in their step, and Billy Burns is going to kick them, looks like into the 22. It's a really good kick there from Billy Burns. Yeah, it was a good offload back inside from Mac Hansen. But all of a sudden, I said, Ulster all over Connacht. In terms of the bench, there's not too many players. So Tom Daly, the only player who's not on for... No, Byron Lawson, by the way, has actually still has returned to the bench. So those 2 players are the only players that haven't been brought on for Connacht. Just Nathan Doak and Eric O'Sullivan, who have been left on the bench for Ulster. I'll be very surprised. I think if Ulster were to score a try, they might look at bringing on Nathan Doak, but I think they're going to keep on Cooney for his goalkeeper. Well, the ball's come down to Dwayne Vermeulen, who's done well to hang on to that. Not the best line-out, so Jordy Murphy's going to have to try and restart some momentum. They go on the short side. McCann, it's a good tackle on him. They get inside the 22 though. Cooney now going to Stewart. I'll tell you what, Stewart has gone forward every single time he's had the ball. Now Billy Burns, taking about a bit of space. Rob Ballycoon. Ballycoon's still going. That's 3 players he got away from. He's looking for the offload away from Mullen. Go for Mullen. God, can't get the offload back in. He's bundled into touch. Just couldn't get his hands free. Well, I'll tell you what, Rob Ballycoon's had a couple of half chances, and he's made a couple of them count, but this is a proper 1, 2, still going, 3, still going. Holds off 1, gets the offload away to Vermeulen as well. He just can't free his hands. Eventually bundled his touch in the corner. But this is absolutely brilliant from Rob Ballycoon. This is why he is so highly rated. Always looking for the offload. He gets it behind, in front of Mac Hansen to Dwayne Vermeulen, who just can't free his hands to get that ball out towards John Cooney. Yeah, they need to see more of that from Ballycoon. He's such a good player when he's got a bit of space, a bit of opportunity, and they just need to give them into those sort of positions more often. Right, well, here comes, speak of the devil, here comes Byron Ralston. So just Tom Daly left on the bench for Connacht. No more subs for Ulster. And O'Halloran has gone off. Oh dear. Oh dear. The TMO has confirmed that Dwayne Vermeulen has thrown this and it's actually come off Mac Hansen. Which means that this is actually an Ulster lineout. Well, that's changed things. This is all of a sudden gone from being a defensive lineout for Connacht to being attacking line 5 meters out. Big, big opportunity for Ulster. 11 minutes to go. Now a 5 meter lineout. This could be it. This could be it. First things first, they've done well to take it. Now, Stuart's controlling things to the back. He knows how to find the try line. Once it's called, stop. Edging towards the left, trying to find a bit of space, and he'll try to identify a half gap, and he'll have a go as soon as he sees it. There he goes. Ball's available as well. They're 5 meters out here, Ulster. Good more defense from Connacht. Sutherland picks up and goes. Pretty desperate defense now needed from Connacht. So you kind of feel if Ulster score here, that could be the game. Pick up and go. I'll tell you what, Rory Sutherland's still putting in a shift. But a penalty for going straight over the ball. And I think it's against O'Connor. That's a big moment in the game. That's a huge moment in the game, in fact. So Connacht get away with it. They survive. Less than 10 minutes to go with 2-point lead. They're still deep inside their own half. But more importantly, they'll have to feed the line out. And I think let's have a look at this. Yeah, and it's against Alan O'Connor, the captain, for not supporting his diving over the ball. Pretty fair call, I think it must be said. Don't think you can have too many complaints about that. Right, we asked earlier, can Connacht hold on to win? 76% people said yes. Well, I'll tell you what, they're really having to hold on now. Well, that's quite a lot of blood. Marmion Yell's got a blood nose. He's got two... I don't even know what's two pieces of cotton will shut up his nose. Well, it's a turnover ball. Will Stewart's come away with it for Ulster. Ulster back inside the 22. And I tell you what, they're now in an area where a single mistake here from Connacht could be a 3-pointer for Ulster. That would actually be enough. Very good pass there from Billy Burns. I've actually been quite impressed with him when he's had opportunity, Billy Burns. Throwing some nice flat passes. Speaking of, there he is. Popping up to Dwayne from here, just outside the 22. Now Burns again. This time to Stuart Moore. Jordy Murphy now, just inside the 22 here. Ulster said can't afford to make any mistakes here. Moore goes very direct. And Marmion, jeepies, it's an absolute mess. There's just blood absolutely everywhere on them. Stuart met hard well in the tackle. Big carry there. Pretty good continuity here. Going through the phases. Yeah, it's a really good line being run as well. Ooh, penalty for Connacht. Coming from the side. Jeepers, well there. From the side. That's a big call. It's a big call to make. So it's from the side is the call. Yeah, no, it's fair call. Very, very fair call. Pretty poor from Jordy Murphy. Right, 7 minutes to go. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, Connacht are trying to do their best to give Ulster chances to win the game. Ulster are saying no thank you. Well, Connacht are desperately trying to hold on here, but Ulster have definitely got the momentum. Rory Sutherland being kept on here. John Cooney being kept on here. Two of the most experienced campaigners in the side. And they're being back to try and get their side over the line. Rory Sutherland, British and Irish Lions, 29 years of age. Interesting enough, he's actually only played I think it's 25 times for Scotland. But has played for the British and Irish Lions twice. So, yeah, it's an interesting fact. He's got 2 British Irish Lions caps and yet less than 25. Here comes Nathan Doak. And it looks like that's going to be Eric O'Sullivan as well. Nope, I don't see Eric O'Sullivan. I think Rory Sullivan's going to go the distance here. Good take in Connacht. That's all they need to do is they need to keep the ball in hand, and then as soon as they get an opportunity, pump this as far downfield. Marmion needs to do that now. Or he's almost caught on the ball, going himself as Marmion. Gets away, he's still going as Marmion. Has he got all the pace? After the 22, he's still going. Goodness me, nobody really wants to tackle eventually. I think it's Stuart that gets back and makes the tackle. Bandiaki. Nah, Ulster can't afford to make a mistake. And that's a brilliant turnover. Billy Burns has read that. Oh, but then a penalty. Offside. I think that call's come from the side. Well, this is a big moment. This is a huge moment. Connacht have an opportunity to kick themselves more than a penalty or in front. Marmion and all the blood are there. That's a brilliant run from him. It's a pretty poor tackle attempt. Then he's off. Steps away from another one. Eventually brought down by Stuart. Good tracking back from the hooker. So I think the call comes from the side here, actually, because Andrew Brace says play on. And then I think the call comes from the assistant. Right, so Jack Carter's going to have an opportunity here. If he nails this, they'll take a 5-point lead with about 5 minutes to go. He's going to take all the time in the world to kick this over. Now, the worst thing they can do here is to then cock up the restart. But if they get this over, then Ulster will need a converted try. Big kick, important kick. And he's nailed it. Less than 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes is the lead. Connacht, could this be the first upset of the weekend? Could there be more upsets in the weekend? Could we see the Sharks beating Leinster? Could we see the Bulls beating Stormers? Could we see Munster beating Glasgow? Not that that's much of an upset, seeing as they only finished 1-2 points. Well, they finished 8 points, or 7 points between them, but they were 5 and 6. 4 and 5? 4 and 5. Short restart from Ulster, and they do. Oh, penalty for taking him out in the air. Again, it's another big call to make. John Porch, well, I'll tell you what, if that's the only contribution he's going to add the entire night, that's not the worst one. They've won a penalty for taking out in the air. Yeah, so Jacob Stockdale elected not to go off his feet, has been penalised. So commentator starting the rhetoric saying that they never had the referee on the side. So maybe implying that there's been some favourable calls for Connacht. Interested to see what everybody else says. But now with almost 3.5 minutes to go, Connacht, I think also have done quite well to come through that. This could be turnover ball here. Yeah, and they have come away with it. Turnover ball here. Now Nathan Doak, Dwayne Vermeulen. Dwayne Vermeulen still going up the 10-metre line. Now Stuart. They're not dead yet. Bandiaki over that ball. Yeah, turnover ball. Nobody wanted it. And I'll tell you what, nobody wants it. And I'll tell you who did want it. And that is the number 18, Jack Unja, who's turned the ball over. That, I'll tell you, small moments, that could almost be it. 3 minutes, just left to 3 minutes on the clock. Marmion goes high now. The ball comes off Ulster hand, I think forward as well. Falls back towards Connacht. Once again, goes to the head as Marmion. Once again, it falls back to Connacht. Ulster just not competing for it. Oliver hit hard in the tackle. Rory Sutherland, I'll tell you what, he's put in an absolute shift, eh? Absolute shift from Rory Sutherland. Once again, Marmion going to the air. This time, I think Ulster, nope, Connacht have went on the ground. But it's hands, I'm about to say. Surely that was hands, and it is. Penalty for Ulster. Woo, bit of late drama, boys. Bit of late drama. And girls, hopefully there are girls. Are there any girls in the chat? Let us know. If they are, they never say anything, which is why we never know if they are. Late drama here. Ulster have won a penalty. We've got 2 minutes to go. They need a converted try to win. Just a try could take us to extra time. bit of extra rugby on for us. Right, need a big kick here. Needed from Nathan Doak. He's taking over the kicking duties. It's a good kick from Nathan Doak. Tell you what, his heart would have been in his mouth there. The young scrum half, very, very talented. I think going to play many a game for Ireland. Just 21 years old, turns 22 at the end of the year. I'm very impressed with what I've seen from him, and that's a big kick under pressure. Well, it's a messy lineup, but it does fall the side of Ulster. Just outside 22 here, Nathan Doak taking his time. Eric O'Sullivan, well, you can tell he's new because look at how white his kit is compared to the rest. Stewart. Ivana Jova for the knock on. McCloskey just inside the 22s. Knees are on the ground. They do have to release him. Eric O'Sullivan. Connacht now, but 1 minute. 1 minute they've got to try and hold on for here. Maybe some extra time would be fun. Tell you what, there's a lot of lazy Connacht players here. I'm very surprised none of them have been pinged for not rolling. Big carry there from Milicinovich. Doak going to Eric O'Sullivan. They are making progress here, Ulster. McCloskey goes short. Doak goes to Burns. Burns going himself. No penalty advantage or anything. So far, Connacht keeping their discipline pretty well. Big carry there coming from Sam Carter. Now O'Sullivan. McCloskey goes himself. The time is red. The time is red. One mistake from Ulster and they are out. Dwayne Vermeulen. Murphy this time. Desperate defense from Connacht. Nathan Doak taking his time. Stuart Moore. 7 meters shorter. Still going. Carter now. O'Sullivan. I think it's Milicinovich. That is it! Penalty! Well, I tell you what, that is one of the best moments of your career. What a performance this has been in the last 2 minutes. Defensive performance. Ulster are out. We will have a South African semi-final in South Africa. There we go. Connacht have done it. 15 points to 10. I tell you what, you're not going to write too many stories about the quality of rugby in this game, but the drama, Connacht, who don't travel particularly well, have done it. The first upset of the weekend. This is playoff rugby. This is why we love it so much. Look what it means to them. Look what it means to them. Well, what a result that is. And they're going to jump into a plane tomorrow. And they're going to travel to South Africa. Connacht have done it. They have beaten Ulster, who finished second in the competition. They went into the semi-finals. Ulster just weren't at the races. They had too much to do. And despite a couple of big performances, Wayne Vermeulen's career at Ulster does come to an end. From a Springbok perspective, from a Sal perspective, it's quite cool because it means he gets to go and rest now. He doesn't play any more games. You can go wrap him comfortable, get him on the treadmill, make sure he's fit as a fiddle come the Springbok season. People, thank you very much for joining me. And, I mean, there we go. I was about to say, surely someone's going to get 24,500. Somebody has, so I appreciate the person that did. Thank you very much, people. We will see you tomorrow for back-to-back watch-alongs. Bulls versus Stormers, Leinster versus Sharks, Glasgow versus Munster. What a lineup we have for tomorrow. Hopefully you guys will all join me. Hopefully more of you guys will join me. Please go and share the link around. Let's see how many people we can get in tomorrow. And we'll see you guys then. As I said, smash like on the video on the way out. And I'll see you guys.